bang it, there it is, right on cue.
How's that? Less straight to Davis. How good was that?
We about to make a round. We've got to make this count. Take the ball and raise it now. Make the noise go crazy loud. It's all moment, let me hit.
Jake Tucker's taken off.
Outstanding. Glenunga certainly have a great
Soup, you're an outstanding man. Well done, congratulations on the flat.
Oh,
a bin chicken.
Your 2024 premiers, the Port District Football Club. Congratulations, you legends. You are the best team.
Once kings of the jungle, the Tigers have lost their bite. Broadview are 0-8 in season 2025. And if they are to survive and thrive in the BTR Excavations Division 1 in the Adelaide Footy League, they desperately need a win. But their opposition today, St Peter's, well, they'll be furious after last week. They were leading comfortably at three-quarter time, but they fell out of the game against Salisbury and went down by a singular point. But we can't do this without our sponsors. A massive thanks to Filming Footy, Sports Interactive, Classic Clashes, Custom by RTC, High Five E-Bikes, Dartfish, Archie's, Jag Meatworks and Kimberley Resorts. With thanks to Filming Footy, this is the Adelaide Footy League.
Galano in the pocket.
G'day folks, welcome here to Broadview over for a massive game between Broadview and St Peter's. I'm joined by Adam Jeffries. Adam, how are you?
Yeah, very well. Great day for footy today. It was a bit cold last week. Wasn't it lucky we were freezing up in that grandstand at Ross Trevor last week? Not today. The jumpers are off and it should be a good afternoon for football.
Yeah, no real conditions to speak of. No wind, just a real picturesque day almost. This wouldn't look out of place being the grand final.
Yeah, the oval's in good nick and no breeze. So the players should be able to use their foot skills today for sure.
Yep, and what can we expect from Broadview? Obviously, they're 0-8. They really need to get on a win if they're to stay in Division 1, don't they?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough ask for them. I feel like their last 4 weeks have been better than their first four, so they're building into the season. We spoke about it last week, that they will win 1 or 2 games on the run home. It's just up to St Peter's to make sure it's not them today. What is it, 2v10 on ladder? Tough one for Broadview, but I think they can be competitive on their home patch.
And what can we expect from the Spockos today? I mean, they're a really well-drilled unit at the minute.
Yeah, the surprise packet of the season, really, aren't they? You know, 2 losses. Both of those losses could have been wins. They could have been sitting here 8-0, 2 after the siren defeats for St Peter's. So there's the story of the season so far. Really impressed with them. Looking forward to watching them play. They've got a star-studded midfield and a mobile forward line. I'm looking forward to see them in action today.
Oh yeah, that they do. It's going to be an absolutely massive game down here at Broadview Oval, and we will see you on the other side of these messages.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
New Hyoketsu, vodka, soda, and frozen natural fruit juice. Hello, yes.
We've been housemates for, what, nearly 4 years?
Yep, basically since I started my uni degree and you got your apprenticeship.
Yeah, it's been really good. Like, it's the little things, you know? Like, one of us is always around to house it when the other goes on holiday. And one of us is always ready to help the other out of jam.
I don't know. Yeah, happen again. It's usually me. My HECS debt doesn't leave a lot of room for holidays or working transportation or food. But it's worth all the debt, right?
No.
But what about your debt?
Debt isn't a problem for me. I get paid to learn.
You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, back for another big week in the BTR Excavations Division 1. St. Peter's taking on Broadview. It is going to be a massive game of footy. My name is Lockie Gould. I'm joined, as always, by Adam Jeffries, the specialist, the man that knows this game better than no other. How are you, Adam?
Yeah, very well. Nice to be here, actually. I haven't been to Broadview since they've had the redevelopment of the facility here. I remember calling a game from a construction site a couple of years ago. So, yeah, very nice facility, very nice inside. Great view of the action this afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game of footy, that is for sure. I mean, St. Peter's, Broadview, most coming into this, you'd expect St. Peter's to get the job done, but there's still a lot of footy left to be played, and you can't count your chickens before they do hatch or before you get the points in the bag. Port District, top of the ladder, back. The reigning premiers back where they belong, really.
Yeah, they've been impressive. Port District's just the one loss, but St. Peter's have been equally as impressive, hasn't they? Like I said in the pre-match intro, both their losses have come after the siren. So they could easily be 7-1-8-0. Having a great season. They won't want to have a slip up today against a team that probably knows where they're at and just looking to be competitive and keep the spirits high within the club as they look set to potentially head back down to Division 2 next season.
St. Peter's and Shock took on each other, and that was a big game of footy as well. Plenty coming out of that, but they do both sit 6 and 2 on the ladder. What do you make of that?
Yeah, good result for St. Peter's. I think the top 3 are pretty even. I think Salisbury North can come into that category as well, and I still think 5th place is up for grabs. I think the top 4 will play finals. I think 5th place is up for grabs, particularly with the big win for Golden Grove, wasn't it, last week? Lockie really condensed that ladder up a little bit. Otherwise, it would have been that little 3-game gap. So there's the battle at the top. There's battle of 4 to get in the top 3. Mm-hmm. There's the battle of the midfield pack to finish 5th. Then you've got the relegation battle as well, where I still feel like 9th place is up for grabs. There's a couple of clubs, and like I said, Broadview, if they can get one win, it tightens up again, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. They're by no means the dead club walking or anything like that. They certainly are still on the prowl, if you will, to get out of that relegation zone. They just need to go on and win. They need to get a couple of good results in a row, and it can happen for them. But yeah, they would love desperately to start here with St. Peter's. Yeah,
like I said, it's going to be a tough one for them as we look at the last few seasons. They've had a pretty good run, Broadview, Division 2 premiers. Came up to Division 1 in the last 2 seasons. They've been semi-competitive without really threatening the top 5, but avoiding the relegation battle this year. Obviously, they'd lost a few players over the summer, didn't they? They had a lot of Adelaide Crows top-up players, and some guys go to the country. They've got a new coach in, local legend here as well. So, yeah, they've just struggled to really take that next step as they've come up to Division 1. You've got to keep adding talent to really compete in Division 1. It just looks like they've just treaded water a little bit after that really dominant 2022 season.
Yeah, they have again. As you said, they are now up. Will they be able to stay up? Well, I mean, odds are against them, but it could still happen. 2 years in Division 1 is pretty good. Of course, they've won this competition 6 times. The most recent time was 2004. So they'd certainly feel like they are due, but it won't be this year that they're winning this competition.
Yeah, powerhouse club of the past, Broadview, just looking to build some consistency, and again, like you said, hoping to stay in Division 1.
Yeah, one team that might be able to get on a bit of a run here. They did get a relatively good win against Shock, but they are 8th. They did finish 8th in Division 1, 8th in 2024, 8th in 2023, 4th and 1st, but didn't win the premiership in 2020. But they've been in Division 1 for a while, survived relegation on that final day, I guess kind of almost a disaster class that saw these two clubs were the ones that ended up staying up, and it was Tea Tree Gully and Brighton that ended up going down.
They had one season in Division 2 in 2018, St. Peter's in the last sort of 15, and they went 20-0 and won the premiership that year. So they've been a steady Division 1 club for a long time. Obviously they have a great program at the college of footballers coming through who then might go off to SANFL football and then come back. Just struggled in the last 2 seasons, but narrowly avoided relegation on the last day of the season on both occasions. But this year they've taken a big step forward, haven't they? And they're one of the powerhouses looking for a grand final berth this year.
Yeah, they're one of the clubs that can win this thing. We've probably got, 3 or 4, 5 clubs that would consider themselves challengers?
Yeah, potentially 5. I think Golden Grove can, even from 5th if they get there, just because of some of the talent that they've got on the park. But you really do need to finish in the top 3 if you want to win the premiership, and I think St. Peter's can do that.
You have a look through this list as well. O'Leary, there's 2 O'Learys, one of them playing with the Crows in the SANFL, the other Cooper down here as well, doing some really nice things. His brother's been around the place as well. And here they go, circling up Broadview, ready to come out just to address themselves, their charges. This is it. A massive, massive opportunity for Broadview. They'll feel, they're going up against one of the competition's best. How good would it be if at home they're able to get the job done?
You've got to steel yourself. The players know where they're at. It's been a tough season, but they want to come out here. Sometimes when you're the hunter, I've coached a season like this before where you're the bottom team and you can come out and hunt the opposition. What you need is a fast start to build belief, and you need to kick accurately a goal. So there are 2 things that you need to do when you're the underdog. Let's see what happens. I said Broadview have lost a lot of players over the summer. There's a lot of names on that team sheet, Lockie, that weren't there last season. So let's see who can step up. I'll be interested to see their game style as well, Broadview. Hopefully they don't chip the ball around the back half too much and they look to just go long and direct and get some early goals on the board, as we see the St. Peter's lineup.
Yeah, plenty to look forward to in that St. Peter's lineup. I mean, you have a look. Both the Carruthers play a brilliant style of footy. Nick Michaels was leading the goal kicking until Lockie Pascoe came along and kicked, I think, 15 in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, plenty of talent wherever you look, really, all over the ground. Very
talented and very young still as well. There's a lot of guys in their early 20s in that list. Very much looking forward to watching Malachi Carruthers play today. Jesse McKinnon's a guy that goes under the radar a little bit. I think he's a tough inside midfielder with some SANFL experience. I like watching Michaels play. He's a crafty little medium-sized full forward. Be interesting to see what role he does. Johnny Reid's been a great player at either end of the ground. We'll see if he plays forward or back today. Can do either. But yeah, they've got a lot of talent now. St. Peter's, every year they've stocked up, and now they look ready to strike. Like I said, they've got a lot of run. They've got a lot of carry. A lot of teams struggle to keep up with them with their speed out of stoppage and their transition play. They're young players. They've got a lot of foot speed, and that's their weapon.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. Of course, they'll still be seething. A couple of weeks ago, Salisbury North got them in the end, but yeah, they're doing some good work at the minute. St. Peter's getting ready for this one to begin again. I was having a little bit of a look through the midfield battle last week. Shock actually got on top of St. Peter's, which isn't unusual because they do play a very, very good brand of football, I guess, kind of Shock. But St. Peter's was still able to win the game. If Broadview, come out firing and their midfielders, their very talented midfielders, managed to get on top, would that be something that worries St. Peter's, or will they be able to kind of fight it back, do you think?
I think St. Peter's will have the edge in the midfield. So they got the edge all over the park. This is second versus 10th. So Broadview will know where we're at. Like I said, they've got to be the hunter. They've got to come out. They've got to start fast. And they've got to kick accurately. As always, when upsets happen, that's exactly what happens. They've had some good games this year, Broadview, but they've kicked in accurately. They've had games of 5 goals, 8. Famously, they had 2 goals, 13 at
3 goals,
half-time.
21.
Yeah, 3 goals, 21 in a game. So accuracy has been a bit of a killer for them, but they will have a day. Last week you asked me, Lockie, will they win a game this year? I think they will, but they've got to have that game where they kick 11 goals 2 or 11 goals 3, something like that, from limited scoring shots, just to really put the pressure on. Have a game where you kick 4 or 5 in the first quarter and then try and hold on from there. So let's see what happens. They're definitely a bit of a mismatch.
Having a little bit of a look at previous meetings, round 16, 2024, last year's Division 1, 12 goals, 10, 82, plays 14, 9, 93. St. Peter's getting the job done there. Round 7 of last year as well, 8 goals, 10, 58, plays 18, 10, 118. and a really, really close game of footy. Hopefully we get something similar today. Round 16, 2023. Division 1, 9 goals, 357. Plays 7 goals, 1153.
Last year's results are interesting, Lockie, knowing that Broadview finished higher on the ladder than St. Peter's, 7th and 8th, but St. Peter's beat them both times. This year they've improved and Broadview have come backwards. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, two clubs that have had total opposite seasons. One of them's flying at the minute. One of them, as we said, is already competing for a flag. The other one is trying to stay out of the relegation zone and so far failing at that goal, yet to win a game of football. St. Peter's said this was their year. They said it in the pre-season. We've recruited specifically a couple of years out for this year, and now they're starting to reap the rewards of that. Broadview just really struggling themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, like I said, as we said, it's 2v10. But we've seen weird things happen. Like I said, the Division 1 competition, we want to pump the game up. We want to give Broadview some respect. Like I said to you, Lockie, their last 4 weeks have been better. Their first 4 rounds of the season were like, oh, this is going to be a long season. Rounds 5 to 8, they were very competitive, kicked in accurately. Like I said, they've got to kick accurately today and put some little bit of scoreboard pressure on the opposition.
Yeah, they do. Of course, you're having a look around the ground. Sacred Heart up against Salisbury North. That was a great game of footy. Golden Grove, that will be a great game of footy. So Golden Grove taking on Prince Alfred. Port Districts and Ross Trevor and Payneham and Glenunga as well. Go through where we'll leave our game for now. We'll come back to that one. But these games here, who wins and why?
Some big matchups there, isn't it? Sacred Heart v Salisbury North is a big game of football. And I will go Sacred Heart to bounce back in that game. 2 defeats on the trot. They won't want to have 3. I think Golden Grove showed something last week. They have to get the job done at home against Prince Alfred, who are really starting to struggle at the moment. Port District should get the job done at home against Ross Trevor. Ross Trevor a little bit disappointing in the end last week, weren't they? So they'll look to bounce back, but a tough road trip for them. Payneham Glenunga's the big one. Glenunga, if they win, they can sort of get out of that relegation zone and look to the finals, and that'll keep Payneham down with Prince Alfred battling for that 9th spot. So big game of footy there as well, tipping Glenunga by 2 or 3 goals.
If Glenunga get the job done, does it then become a straight shootout between Prince Alfred and Payneham for who's going to finish in that relegation zone?
Yes.
Yes.
Whoever wins that next game. That's why last week was at Payneham won by 4 points. Huge result. If Prince Alfred had won that game, got to 3 wins, Payneham on 1. Very tricky to make up 2 games, isn't it, on the run home? Big result for Payneham last week. They're more than capable of getting on a little bit of a winning run, aren't they? So let's see what happens. We'll keep an eye on the scores at the other venues.
Of course we will. But on the other side as well, if Payneham win, does that then ruin Glenunga's final season?
Potentially, yes.
Yeah,
I think they'd have to get on a real winning run. I think there's only one spot for grab, that 5th spot. They've got to catch Golden Grove and Ross Trevor a couple of games back. But there's still 10 weeks of footy to go, isn't there? So plenty of time.
Of course, our game sees Broadview taking on St. Peter's. And we've got the St. Peter's captain, Ed Allen, marching his way out to the centre. He's yet to have his opposition counterpart walk out as well. Just taking their time. But should be coming into the centre relatively quickly here for what is a coin toss that doesn't really mean a whole lot with the conditions. It's a perfect day for footy.
The only thing that you try and avoid on days like today is maybe your forwards or your defenders. Depends on which way you want to coach the game. Looking into the sun in that first quarter, that's the only thing that you would be considering. But it is a perfectly still day here, Lockie. No breeze at all.
There we go. So, there we go. Embrace from the umpires. The Broadview. And there is their captain there, O'Leary, just making his way out. Coin toss about to go up. And the umpires are discussing. There's going to be a switch of umpire with the coin toss.
It's pulled rank.
There we go. I'll do what he says. And there we go. So it is going to go the way of St. Peter's. Ed Allen points his hand down towards the right-hand side of the screen. So that means St. Peter's will be kicking that way. And Broadview will be kicking, of course, to the left. It's the only direction left to go. So it's going to be a big game of footy here. Now, one thing we haven't done is we haven't run through the sponsors, so we'll make sure we give them their moment in the sun. Filming Footy, Sports Interactive, Classic Clashes, Custom by IRTC, High Five E-Bikes, Dartfish, Archies, Jag Meatworks, and Kimberley Resorts as well. And of course the scoreboard, which you can see below, it's got the pre-game banner down there. That's brought to you by Kieran Hayo Ketsu. It's a fantastic drop. Haven't had one yet. I'm gonna have to swing by the bottle though while I'm watching my team play footy tonight, so that I can enjoy a bit of the sponsors product.
Yes, tremendous sponsors. We have Kieran Hayo Ketsu. Seeing him everywhere. Good on him.
Yeah, they are doing some fantastic job. BTR Excavations, of course, bringing us Division 1 of both the men's and the women's in the Adelaide Footy League as well. Don't forget about Best on Ground. Gets themselves a pair of Archies. Summer's coming up. You know, we're midway through winter now, and they'll be handy when they're going down the beach in the off-season. But this one is going to be absolutely massive. Make no mistakes. And the Farmers League Coach of the Week back up for grabs again. Another 3 bottles of Random Shot wines, and they are absolutely delicious. I've got 3 boxes in my room ready to be given away over the next 3 weeks.
Very good. Well done. Give the coaches some recognition, Lockie. Tough caper.
It is. It's a tough job. Not a job I'm cut out for, and not a job I'm envious that they have either. But before we do get set and ready to go here, who wins this game, Adam Jeffries? You're yet to give us a tip.
Oh, look, I would love to. Like, crazy things can happen in football, but St. Peter's should win by 8 goals. Here
we go. So we're hoping that's not the case. We're hoping it's a close game, as I'm sure all the neutrals are. St. Peter's fans will be hoping for an 8-goal win for their team. And obviously Broadview will be hoping for the same. Broadview, if they win, it will just be a really, really special occasion that you would expect St. Peter's to get the job done. Hang Yang marching out. He'll be taking on his opposite number there. Here we are, about to get ready to go. Here we go. Run waits. Ball's held aloft, and we are away. St. Peter's against Broadview. Ball goes up, and it's slapped back down. St. Peter's win the ruck tap out. Got to come charging through then. No winning out. And then Carruthers bends down, picks up the footy. He's wrapped up nicely. And by Manning. So it is even from the first couple of seconds of this one. Rucks go again. Ball tapped down. Collected spinning move out almost by O'Leary. Fired back. And here go Broadview up the ground. Good mark taken. They needed to start well. It was spoken about extensively pre-game. And the kick inside forward 50. So they do get the first inside. It's a big fist away. Carruthers, he was there. And that one is over and out in front of a slipping and sliding Ed Allen. Umpire's going to throw it back in here. Tossed and twirled skyward. That one's brought down. Fired back out. O'Leary was there. He's on hands and knees. This is his opposite number, and that one is going to be a ball up. O'Leary, the one laying the tackle. Stopping Ianello. Ball up again. Bouncing footy. Ripped it out then was Carlin, former under-18s Roosters player.
Very early part of the game, but good signs for Broadview. Repeat stoppages means their mids are cracking in. They need to get a quick kick forward here. Forwards on their toes.
Was slapped back. Picked up by Bedford. Bedford then gives a little hand pass across to Nelligan, and Nelligan runs out of room. I says we'll throw that one back in. Still we wait. Right in front of the spectator out there, sitting on the hill. Plenty making the hill their home this afternoon as the ball bounces into the centre here of Broadview Oval. Should be collected. Isn't by the St. Peter's player that came running through, but just sent back in war, but by Broadview. There's a good mark at the back. And the kick across the ground. There he is again. Carruthers, he's been busy early. Trying to put his name on another pair of Archies. And to Cesare, who ended up getting the 3 votes in the Archies the last time we called St. Peter's. That was at Park 9 for the college rivalry. Bedford takes a good mark, turns pretty quickly. At Scott Variety, of course, there's Ty in the team as well. So if you hear Bedford, it could be either one of them. Kick goes into the forward pocket, bouncing ball. Collected there. And the kick inside. Bouncing footy, trying to go charging through, and there he is, Manning. Managed to just wheel his opponent off him. And now Broadview onto the other side. Good mark taken. Backing back quickly was Hill. Hill in no rush. But decides up the line is where he'll go. Carlin's there. Slapped away from him. He might be able to grab it. He does. Trying to dance around a couple of opponents. Did nicely. Gave it across back to Hill. Hill then snaps it inside forward 50. Great mark. Brilliant effort there. And stepping back to go and have a kick at goal is Costa.
Yeah, good mark. Love the mullet as well. The flying mullet came across the pack. It was a really good mark in the end. Really wrapped it up on his chest. Well done by Broadview. It was a good transition. Good to see them quick transition, long kicks going their way, taking territory, not trying to maintain the ball in their back half. This would be the perfect start. We've spoken about their accuracy. We don't want to put the commentator's curse on, do we, Lockie? Call it home, but they need a straight shot on goal to get their confidence up.
This is Hames lining up. I do apologise. Give him credit where credit's due. And he does kick the first. Broadview, they needed to get the fast start, and they do through Hames. So that's a big start. One straight 6 plays Spock's yet to score. And they desperately needed the fast start, didn't they, Adam?
Yeah, good work by Broadview. They got the good transition off halfback, didn't they? It was a bit of a lazy entry by St. Peter's. Came back into the corridor. And then what Broadview were able to do, quickly whisk the ball down the other end of the ground. They had numbers at half forward. They were able to break a few tackles, release and kick inside 50. A really good mark by Hames. Made it look easy, but he actually drifted across the front. There was plenty of pressure coming from behind. And most importantly, Lockie, an accurate kick on goal is exactly what Broadview needed. So good start for them. 3 inside 50s to 1. Only 4 minutes into the game, but they're up and about.
That they are. Ball goes back up. Footy bounces, collected. Hill tried to work it out, wasn't able to. Footy then left behind. INL tried to come charging through. And he worked it out okay in the end. Of course, a former Park 9 player with Prince Alfred. Footy's outside. Manning. He then finds a kick inside. There is Costa. He then turns, picks out Modra. Turning one way and then deciding down the line is where he wants to send it. It's a great grab as well. The kick was absolutely spot on and inside forward 50. They're starting to make this work here, Broadview, early on in this contest. And the footy is in the hands there of Caleb Jones.
Yeah, really well worked, wasn't it? It was great composure. I wanted the initial attack to swing and go in deep inside 50, but you can see they're going to want to try and maintain possession where they can. It's a great mark out on the flank, turn back inside. Again, it's about 45 metres out. Directly in front though. Call it home, Lockie, see if we can get another accurate shot on goal.
So in comes Jones. Kick is on its way, and that is brought back into place, and no one able to score. And the umpire says, "I'll have that one." Ball up around about 5 metres out from the Tigers' goal. They're on the prow early. Footy goes up, tap back down. Hames tried to go running through. And the umpire says we're going to have that one balled up. Throwing, and Carlin might be able to pick it up, try to wrap it away, wasn't able to. And Ed Allen fell to his knees and handballed it across the line. Conceding the behind. Margin out 7, Kieran Hayoketsu's scoreboard. And towards the outer side it goes. Carruthers is the target. It's punched away from him. It was Costa who was there. Now trying to come charging through are the Tigers. Costa, it might work out okay. It works out. That was absolutely tremendous, but it was a behind. The kick off the boot there of Beard.
Great forward pressure by Broadview. They've had 5 entries inside 50 already. Good start for them. They just need that second goal to really just put a little bit of pressure on the St. Peter's.
So Nelligan to Bedford. And now Bedford 20 metres from his opposite goal. There's a good mark taken. Just trying to look around, trying to find a teammate that's got a little bit of space. So decides down the line is where he'll go. Kick and great mark taken. Higgins turns relatively quickly. Decides to go inboard. Footy drops. Broadview turning it over. The Tigers' pressure has been tremendous so far. Inside it goes. Carlin was the intended target. Footy bounces away from him. Just a long, high football. Anywhere but where it was will do for St. Peter's. Footy turning and coming back inside. Ang Yang, and his kick is chopped off by Higgins. Higgins had a couple of disposals in the last minute or two. Footy now with Allen. And Allen finds Nelligan. Nelligan to Bedford. And Bedford, oh, that was really nicely done by Ty. Ty then goes up, gives it to his brother, but his brother wasn't able to complete the mark as he leaped into the air. He's going to get it back here. Scott turns one way. Bedford fires back a hand pass. Still St. Peter's dancing on the edge of their 50. Now they go inside. Footy rolls away, bouncing through. Ang Yang hands and knees. He then paddles it out. Dangerous area. The defence arrived for the Tigers. Falling down. There's the handball from Connolly. He was wrapped up. Colley, sorry.
Great pressure in their defensive 50 by Broadview. Again, good start. St. Peter's for the first time. We just saw them be able to transition the ball, switch the football, get out the fat side and transition from deep 50 to deep inside 50 where they've got a ball up.
Ball does go up and Bedford through hands and through legs. He almost was the hand pass. There is Colley. He picks it up, snaps on goal, and that's behind. So, quick start, but 7 points is the difference. Crowd getting involved. And the line goes as a good mark taken. Again from Hart Kelly. Inside, oh, courageous effort. Rewarded as well, and that's what Rundle does best. Sticks himself in uncomfortable situations and he's able to either draw the free kick or complete the mark.
I think the mark was paid there. You cannot play on from a mark or take advantage, so the ball's come back.
Rundle. Bouncing footy at half forward. Almost trapped, was in the end. And that one is going over and out.
Not sure where St. Peter's wanted to go there. They probably wanted one of their good kickers to come around Rundle there and pump the ball deep inside 50. But a great intercept mark by the big man.
Footy comes back in, tap back down. Bouncing ball collected off half back. They start to link up through hand passes through the Tigers. Turning kick and towards Carlin. That was the intended target. Ball fell down. Bounce past him. Now it's a great tackle. Absolutely fantastic effort from Jones, who's had a behind on the day. Only goal kicker so far is Hames. Ball goes up again. Tapped away. Hill was there. Able to get the footy inside forward 50. Carlin not quite able to take the mark. Had the ball ripped away from him. Picked up here. Here go the Tigers. Trying to work their way through. Handball's over the top of the head of Hames and starting to link up through Rundle. Rundle gives the hand pass across. Now, Valperio. And turns and up the line. Bouncing ball. Umpire is going to ball that one up.
7 inside 50s to 3 in favour of Broadview. Like I said, they've had the fast start. They need that second goal, Lockie. That will really put the opposition in just a little bit of pressure.
Footy was able to get cleared in the end. Bouncing ball. Bedford tried to go charging through, wasn't able to do so. So the Tigers win the footy out. And here they go. Walking through the centre of Broadview Oval. Kick inside forward 50. Great mark again. Rundle. He's got super glue on his hands so far. So courageous, isn't he, Adam?
Yeah, that was a fantastic mark. They got the 2v1 there, didn't they? They love to have brought that ball to ground Broadview because they had numbers at ground level. As we see, not quite able to take the quick advantage. 25-metre penalty paid, which will give Broadview an opportunity to get behind the football and clog up the attack here.
Yeah, they'll be pretty happy with that because DeCesare had taken a mark at the edge of the centre square on the forward side for St. Peter's. The footy goes back in that direction. The back of the pack falls through. Higgins was there, able to quite work his way through. Kick off a step from McKinnon, bounces inside forward 50. Bit of a chaos footy, collected at the back, and McKenzie should get it out here for the Tigers. A good mark as Byrne turns. Big fist, getting the bouncing footy. Picked up, hand passed. And they're trying to get their way through, unable to do so to Cesare. Fires out a hand pass towards the front. Big tackle. And the umpire says we'll ball that one up. Allen, the tackler, on that occasion. That was Hamish that time. Ball tapped down. St. Peter's working hard in the ruck. And that is going to be a ball up. Umpire has it thrown back to him. That one gets paddled back down. Collected by Carruthers. Carruthers and sends it big fist over the top, bouncing ball. Or more like a rolling footy, really, as that one goes out.
Yeah, impressed with Broadview so far, Lockie. They've come to play, haven't they? With good ball use, good work at the stoppages, good pressure when St. Peter's. We're 13 minutes into this game and St. Peter's really haven't had a good forward entry as of yet.
Top 3 disposal getters for Broadview last week. Manning, Hill and White. White not out there today. Of course, has a bit of AFL experience as everyone has a footy ball, as everyone stops the footy to be thrown back up. Bit of a dead heat there in the contest, and Coley throws the footy back. No one able to win it out of the right contest then. That one gets fired back and a long high footy up. Ball punched. Bouncing ball, almost collected there. O'Leary ran himself into a little bit of trouble as the St. Peter's cavalry arrive. Tigers still with the ball though. Again, the footy's collected here. St. Peter's just a step and a half ahead at the minute. Oh, that was a brilliant smother there from Hill. And Hill, his work had Manning rewarded, and unlucky there from Carlin, not able to quite keep it in.
Yeah, great pressure again, caused that turnover. I'd love to have run and carried and got that ball deep into an attacking position there, but again, it's at a dangerous part of the ground. See if they can lock the ball in again, Broadview.
Well, he terrorised defences all year in the under-18s program last year for North Adelaide, and he's doing the same here. Wins the ruck tap out on this occasion. Kick off a step. It's a high footy. It's a good mark. Rundle holds on, turns and kicks it across the ground in the opposite back pocket from where we're sitting. And they should be able, through Grant and Carruthers, eventually exit their defensive 50. They do that now. Bill Perio ends up with the ball. He assesses and decides Carruthers is the option to go back to. He's about 10-15 metres up the ground from where he took his previous kick. His kick.
Very patient build-up, isn't it, Lockie? Just looking to maintain the ball. They do have some good ball users. The oval's in good condition. There's no wind today, so just looking to maintain possession until they can get close enough to the arc and launch it deep.
Ianello.
That's a fantastic kick by Ianello.
That was absolute poetry in motion. It released Carruthers, then Carruthers gets it inside forward 50, and St. Peter's are going to get rewarded with a shot on goal here.
That's just class, isn't it, Lockie? That looked like just a slow build-up. Nothing was happening. Ianello absolutely lasered a pass into the midfield, and Carruthers with a lot of time and space. Looked like he was going to blast the goal, but out of the corner of his eye.
Found Fergus Carruthers.
Yeah, so that's a great link-up by those two. Great assist by Malachi. Shot on goal from 35 out.
So, in steps Fergus Carruthers and misses. So, Spockos move themselves to 2 behinds. It is Broadview 1-2-8, a 6-point ball game. Kick into the pocket. There's a good mark taken as Wilson turns. Wilson zigs and zags and gets the footy back. Now, that is out and a good mark taken as well by the other Wilson. There's 2 Wilsons out there. We've got Jackson and Kobe.
Plenty of brothers out there today, isn't there?
Yeah.
Again, Broadview, patient build-up, isn't it? Both teams don't want to just kick long to the contest. That's their last option. You can see St. Peter's have a massive wall waiting for this one, but he might be forced to go long. He's found another short one.
Is the only goal kicker so far on the ground for either team in Haynes. Back across the ground they go. Ryan. Oh, slipping. Oh, no. Here comes Ianello. He absolutely read that like a book. Collected. Running out of room. Did he keep it in? Did he snap on goal? He sent it towards the top of the hot spot instead, which is where it needed to go. Fired back through. Great tackle, Nelligan. And St. Peter's, I tell you what, if that had led to a goal, he might have been an absolute teammate favourite out there, Ianello, but it didn't quite lead to what he wanted.
I was about to say, the foot skills have been really good, but the more you possess with short pass in the back half, a turnover is going to come at some point. St. Peter's didn't get the chance to make them pay there, though.
Footy over the line. It's going to be thrown back in. Plenty. So everyone just takes stock a little bit. The leading disposal getters from last week for St. Peter's, Allen, Bedford and Bedford. Ty beating out Scott only just. 23-22 for those two. There's Anyang, although he lost the footy before he was able to get a disposal away. Trying to work their way through. Carruthers, kick towards the pocket. Bouncing ball. Again, it just sits on the deck. No one really wants it. Too busy wrestling with each other than going after the football.
Don't mind that umpiring. Looked like both players were wrestling with each other for mine. Forward always feels a little bit hard done by there in George, but both players wrestling for mine. Play on, don't mind that.
Yeah, well, they both look more interested in getting each other out of the way than actually going and getting the football. Nelligan fired it across. That might have come off his hands, though. It doesn't matter. It's taken over the line. And Wilson. That's Jackson doing the job there.
They could be out here, Broadview. If this kick can hit the mark.
It did. And here they go, running. They're hunting our Broadview at the minute. They can smell a little bit of blood. St. Peter's, though, managed to grab the footy, turn it over at half forward, and you might pay for it. Footy then with Reed. Reed dancing. And that one's picked up off the deck. As the footy thuds down again. In a little bit of congestion. No one able to quite win it out. McKinnon's there on the outer side. Was won by St. Peter's. Now they link up. Ainello again. He's had about 12 disposals already. Turning and Allen with the ball. Allen goes inside. Finds a little 15-metre pass. Belperio, he couldn't, could he? Decides against that. And the kick, well, he was aiming for the full forward and Reed, but didn't quite work out. Carruthers is there, twisted away from his opponent. Did he grab it? Oh, the bounce let him down. That is footy's a cruel game sometimes.
Yeah, it looked like he was set for a little magic goal in the pocket down there, but the bounce just didn't look like it came back to him like he wanted. He dodged and weaved and got out of the phone booth. But again, Broadview applying great pressure so far. St. Peter's just can't find a way through.
Don't know what he would have gotten from Bianco, but he might have had $100 to spend if he managed to stitch that all together. Not to be. The magic moment still up for grabs. Kick might have been touched off the boot anyway. Umpire lets it play no. Was able to take the mark as it bounces over the line. And it's going to be brought back in by Allen. This is the Charlie variety. Again, we've got Edward Allen, Charlie Allen. A couple of brothers on each team. And there is Allen with the footy again. And Hamish as well. Plenty of Allens. As the footy goes up the line. And that's brought down. Kick. Sent around and still they bounce. There's the ball. That one's going to be balled up.
Defending well here, Broadview. They had nowhere to go there, St. Peter's. Just a long entry to the junction of the arc and the boundary line. Doing really, really well. Over nearly 21 minutes in, and the team second on the ladder hasn't scored a goal yet, Lockie.
Yeah, no. That is that's a great start, really, when you sit and think about it. You know, you've, as you just said, nearly at quarter time. And the team that's fighting for a flag is trailing the one that is fighting to avoid relegation. It's only by 5 points, but still. Low scoring contest. This one's a bit of a scrap, but a fun scrap nevertheless. And getting off the bottom of that pack there is Flanagan. Ball goes up. Umpire 12 at Skywood. Trying to charge his way through then is McKenzie, but he's stopped. Double trouble there. Nelligan. The ball goes up, and that one is going to be thrown back.
See plenty of numbers around the ball here, so not a lot of places to escape. Need a quick kick on the boot if you get the ball.
Yes, they do. Turn and fired around, and that one's grabbed by Hart Kelly. Turn, sets it up. Carlin was able to get the big fist in over the top. Anyang, he's bumped. Picked up there by Manning, and Manning ran out of room.
I think Carlin's done well at full forward. He's had to compete against two in the air a lot so far. Doing well, the big fella. Like I said, it's not always a fun role full forward when you've got the spare coming in. He'll do the ruck work here.
One of my favourites to watch. He was up there against Henry. Did well as well. As the footy goes forward here for Broadview. Ball at the back, and the runners are released. Here they go. Through, and he couldn't do it again, could he, Hames? Bouncing footy. Delicious. The Tigers, they get their second. And Hames is turning into quite the dominant medium-sized forward at the minute.
Yeah, both goals to the Flying Mullet. Well done to him. That was a clever little composed snap in the end. He took that just extra half second and he dribbled the ball beautifully down, so an early contender for the player of the day. But what Broadview did there, Lockie, was they soaked up a lot of pressure, didn't they? St. Peter's had a lot of territory in their front half. They weren't able to score. There was a lot of repeat stoppages. But Broadview won the arm wrestle, and like I said, they got that second goal in what is shaping to be a little bit more of a lower scoring game than what I thought. Great start by Broadview.
And they're doing some straight shooting as well, which is important. 2 goals, 2 going at 50%.
Need to hold on to quarter time here. If they can keep St. Peter's goalless, it'll really boost their confidence.
Well, they've got to win the clearance, and they're doing just that. It was a toe poke, but arriving nice and quickly. Bedford and, well, Ian almost ran into each other then. Footy thrown back. Umpire releases the play again. Footy towards the front, and there goes Bedford waltzing through. Kick. One smashed away at the last second. Trying to work his way through there is Mackenzie. Fired back. Long down the line, and that kick is chopped off. Great kick to, well, almost to the advantage, but it was just overplaced slightly. Now the players are released on it, and that one's going to end up over the line. Great battle there between Carruthers and Beard. The umpire throws it in right in front of us. All at the back, Manning. Tried to work his way through. Bedford twisting, turning, riding bumps and challenges left, right and centre. And that is how quarter time ends, with a little bit of a highlight. Broadview 2-2, 14 place. Box 0-3-3. Broadview, well, they've jumped the team that is second on the ladder, but there's going to be plenty of footy down here from the Broadview Oval. It is Broadview by 11 points as we cut to this break.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
New 氷結 Vodka, soda, and frozen natural fruit juice. Hello, yes.
We've been housemates for, what, nearly 4 years?
Yep. Basically, since I started my uni degree and you got your apprenticeship.
Yeah, it's been really good. Like, it's the little things, you know? Like, one of us is always around to house it when the other goes on holiday. And one of us is always ready to help the other out of jam.
I don't know. Yeah, happen again.
It's usually me. My HECS debt doesn't leave a lot of room for holidays or working transportation or food. But it's worth all the debt, right?
No.
But what about your debt?
Debt isn't a problem for me. I get paid to learn.
You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
And the Tigers have made their mark early. They lead this one by 11 points, 2-2, 14 plays 0-3-3. My name's Lockie Gordon, joined by Adam Jeffries. Adam, interesting start to the game.
Yeah, very interesting. If you had told me St. Peter's would come in with only 3 behinds on the board, I would have been surprised considering the weather we've got here today. But full credit to Broadview. This has been a game for them built on pressure. They've got the ball inside 50 on 10 occasions. They've looked dangerous. Their tall forwards have competed. And, yeah, St. Peter's just have a little bit of work to do. I'm not sure they're just going to be able to chip the ball around and have a merry day at the office here today. Broadview have come to play. Got those early goals on the board. Very early stages of this game, Lockie, but great start by Broadview, which is good to see. We want to see a good game, don't we? Pre-match predictions, obviously, with the St. Peter's were going to get the chocolates, but anything can happen in Division 1. It's an even competition. Great start by Broadview. They've got to maintain it and take a lead into half-time, and that's when they'll really start believing.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Broadview team, while they are, 10th on the ladder, they're still a Division 1 club, and you've got to make sure you give them the respect they deserve. Not saying that St. Peter's aren't, but the team that does think, oh, we're in for an easy day at the office, we've got Broadview, you're going to get beaten by them.
They've got some good ball winners, haven't they? I'm looking at guys like O'Leary, Costa, Beard, Hill, Wilson, guys that are in and under, quick, and their foot skills have been really good. They've only had the one turnover to speak of in their back half so far, which is a good start. And the flying mullet, young Jackson Hames, with 2 goals, 2 fantastic goals, one from a brilliant mark and one from a brilliant left foot snap. So a great start by him. I said St. Peter's coaching staff will have plenty to talk about.
Yeah, there we go. Very interesting here as we have a little bit of a look there at the Broadview coaches. They split. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens here. What would have been the messaging from Mike O'Leary in the St. Peter's box, do you think?
Well, first thing is no panic. We're 11 points down, and we're not playing as well as we'd like. But this isn't a lack of effort from St. Peter's. This is playing against a team on their home deck that's come to play with great pressure. So the game will open up at some point, and they need to take those opportunities. He'd want the first goal here, wouldn't he, St. Peter's, because then that margin will stay close. But it looks like it might be a lower scoring game than what we thought, Lockie. So maybe Broadview don't have to put as big a score on the board to maybe get the chocolates here. But yeah, no panic from your St. Peter's. His team's come off some fantastic wins, haven't they? So maybe just cruised into this game just by 1 or 2%, and that's all it takes sometimes in Division 1, and find yourself behind on the scoreboard. Long way to go, though. Absolutely.
Tigers, well, I'll be pretty happy. Messaging, I imagine, at quarter time would have been something along the lines of let's keep doing what we're doing. Footy goes back, and we are away. Bone takes on Ang Yang, and the tap goes down. It's a good tackle on Manning to make sure he goes nowhere. As the umpire gets that one back. Ang Yang again, he wins the tap. Doing a great job in the ruck, isn't he? So Footy goes up and under, and that one might be collected. Paddled forward there by Ang Yang, and snap out there. As at the back, it's almost picked up here by Broadview. It is. Fired hand pass along. There goes Michaels. He led the goal kicking for a little bit until Pascoe took it off him, playing at Golden Grove. He's had a really good 4 or 5 weeks there. Footy falls back down to Cesare. Almost able to pick it up, but he's absolutely met with a challenge. Snapping at the back, bouncing Footy. Hard into the deck. There goes O'Leary. O'Leary. Then
beautiful pass.
Almost worked out okay. Footy hit the chest there of Byrne, and Byrne manages to turn, send it up, and Carlin trying to track it, wasn't able to do that. Rundle kicks a cross goal. Dangerous decision there. Beard was closing quickly. Lionello paddles it forward. Bedford at half back, trying to dance, and was able to take on an opponent and get rid of him. He fell to the side. McKinnon fight it back towards Bedford. He's the excitement machine at the minute. Nelligan, Bedford, keep going, son. Doesn't get it again as the Footy goes up and under. And that's almost a good mark. Wasn't quite completed there. Ball fired across. Henry gave it to Higgins, and Higgins kicked nothing.
He'll be disappointed there, Harvey George, won't he? Did all the body work, got free, wasn't able to take the mark. I think it was Bedford again. So hard to tackle, isn't he, Lockie? Set up that play at half-back, looking very slippery in this match so far.
He's elusive. Just gets out of trouble. Almost seemingly impossible. Ang Yang, like the way he's been in the ruck today, positions himself well. He's now got the Footy in the middle of the ground. He kicks it up. And that is a great mark there.
Spoke pre-match. I reckon the sun was an issue there for Carlin. A little bit disappointed there. I'd love to have got a contest.
Rundle. His kick, well, his target slipped over, but rolling very quickly off the mark is Charlie Allen. Allen goes inside. Finds Bedford. Scott and Ty. Cousins as Allen gets the Footy back. There's a big fist. Brought it down, trapped. And that is an absolutely fantastic kick there. Although the turnover opened the door for Bedford. And Nelligan was wrapped up. And here comes Ang Yang again. He's doing it everywhere at the minute. Ruck, marking, able to just glide on the surface. Gets it back again. That kick smothered though, and there's a hamstring. That is not ideal there. There's Belpero grasping at his leg. And I think they're being able to see too much in the medical reports at all. That looks bad.
Just unlucky there, Big Anyang, wasn't it? It takes so long to get the ball from hand to foot. And they were away a couple of times, but the big fella is working hard, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really proven his worth as a ruckman. The footy goes up the line, collected almost at the back, but that one goes over.
Keep an eye on Belperio there, but he is not moving very well, unfortunately. That's, yeah, be surprised if he comes back on.
No, he's hobbling. We hope he's all right, and obviously, you know, it's not the end of his day, but if it is, hopefully he's back out there next week. Footy goes back down, and well, it's in a little bit of a scrap heap at the minute. Nelligan does the honours to get the footy back to the umpire. Ball goes back up. Anyang again, able to drift through. Tap back, bouncing ball collected there on the outside by Hart Kelly. Little dribbler inside forward 50, pick back up. Almost St. Peter's run themselves into trouble, but they get out. Great mark taken there by Henry. This plane comes overhead. QF something or other coming in. Part of the Qantas family there. There's Carruthers. Sends it across the ground. Bedford. He then turns nice and quick. Tie this time. Scott's brought his own footy for the first 5-10 minutes of this second quarter. Allen.
Great composure again by St. Peter's, but Broadview have just slowed them up enough. They haven't been able to get the play on and the ball inside 50 as yet.
It's a good point you bring up as well. They do like playing a slow, methodical style of game, do St. Peter's. Nelligan got the ball across to McKinnon, and McKinnon trapped on the wing. Although he found a way out.
That's the one they want. Now they can launch in deep.
They do just that. Kick and mark! Grab by Michaels.
Hasn't had a lot of opportunities yet, Michaels, has he? But he is a really, really clever small full forward. They got the perfect build-up. They've gone end to end. Haven't lost possession of the football from the back pocket, across the other side. As we can see in here, that's a fantastic mark by Michaels. Turned in midair. He's not a tall man, but he's a great mark for his size. Can he kick St. Peter's first of the day?
Certainly end up on the replays across the week as that one goes gun barrel straight. And Michaels caps off a great mark with an excellent effort. And Spocko 1-3-9 plays Broadview's at 2-2-14. So they close the margin to 5, and Michaels does what he does best.
Yeah, great grab by Michaels. Just what his team needed, wasn't it? Like I said, this quarter was starting again like an arm wrestle. Broadview had a few inside 50s, couldn't score. They've had a man go down. So it was all looking good for Broadview, but a great counter-attack there by St. Peter's. Really good composed ball use. Like I said, normally it falls down as you get to half forward, but they got that kick to hit a target. I think it was McKinnon hit the target, and then Michaels with an early nomination for Player of the Day with a fantastic mark. And most importantly, Lockie, you've got to cap off those marks with a straight kick, and he did that.
He did an absolute amazing effort there. Just having a look there. Anyang moved into a rover position there. It's part of the three in the midfield, but not the ruckman.
Yeah, it's interesting. He does get the ball. The ball just bobbles to him a lot. He just can't dispose of it quickly as we've got a free kick. We've got a 25, I think, for not giving the ball back to the right player.
Yeah, so it's going to be Bedford that marches himself forward, gives it off to his cousin, and that might work out okay. It bounces dangerously, but knocked across by Wilson.
Disappointed there, Bedford. He's more than capable of actually drilling that through, but just didn't quite get the ball drop right. The game can turn quickly, can't it, when there's low-scoring arm wrestles. Broadview look like they're on top. St. Peter's score, get a centre clearance, and they're back in semi-control of this match.
Yeah, they are. Kick out towards, well, they thought it had gone out there. McKenzie in the 6 had thought it had gone out. He stopped, realised the footy was behind him. Footy's been thrown back to the umpire. As the ball ended up going out. Ball thrown back in. Tap forward. Nelligan chasing after it to Cesare. He's tackled. That one almost looking like it was going over. And again, Bedford, I tell you what size Archie's is he, do you think?
He's a slippery customer, isn't he? He's an exciting player to watch, and that's what St. Peter's have got. They've got some guys that are just hard to tackle, great ball users. He's getting plenty of attention here because he's looking to stream through this stoppage here.
Ball comes back in. And that is well wrapped up there. Nelligan making sure his direct opponent going absolutely nowhere.
It's actually a good play by Broadview. You can't let Scott Bedford come through at stoppages at this part of the ground on his own. Plenty of body work happening off the ball.
Footy emerges a high up and under. And that one is going to end up over.
We've got a last touch, no touch there. So St. Peter's will reload and go back inside 50.
Good game of footy so far. Low scoring arm wrestle as Bedford looks like he's going to bring the ball back in. Right now, he's been the best on the ground for mine, and that is a kick and a half inside forward 50. Penetrating footy, and it found Collie.
Super impressive Scott Bedford so far in this game. Even in the first quarter when his team was down, he was getting plenty of the football, mostly across half back, but that's just a laser pass inside 50. Tricky shot for goal from 40 out near the boundary line, but capable from this range, young Ed Collie.
Collie lines up. What is he able to do? He sends it right to the line. I think it stayed in. St. Peter's still dangerous. Great tackle. Almost ripped it out then, did Nelligan. And that one is over the line.
What's the umpire paid here? Has he paid a last touch, has he? I think if you're unsure in that part of the ground, you've got to throw the ball in. Yeah, good umpiring there. Otherwise, team's having a shot on goal when you're not sure, so that's smart umpiring. Throw the ball in. Well set up, Broadview. They've got lots of numbers around their ball. Their forwards have come really high. Really impressed with Broadview's coaching and structure so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Footy works its way forward, and the kick is gonna work out okay. It's a bit of a foot race. Rundle, first one back there for St. Peter's. He's able to grab the footy. Turns, puts it towards the outer side. Fired back. And there's a kick. It works out okay from Grant, or nearly okay, as the footy rolls over the line. Intended target there was Collie, but it didn't quite work out for him.
Just getting a little bit of territory game played in their front half at the moment. Just lacking another forward up there. I think they were making an interchange, actually, when that ball did come out. So they were a man down at half forward. And Rundle, who's been pretty good so far behind the ball, hasn't he? Was able to clean the ball up again.
Yeah, courageous at the minute is Rundle.
Took a couple of fantastic inset marks when his team was under the pump in the first quarter, didn't he?
Wonder if he likes eating at the Moseley, because that could certainly get you a Moseley team man best on. As that one fires forward.
Everybody likes eating at the Moseley.
Yeah, that was a stupid question from me. I'm sorry, folks. Everyone loves the Moseley.
So we see a player down. Might have copped a bit of a high tackle there. Looks like the trainers are going to come out, but he's not sure who it is there.
That looks like potentially there. Just wait.
Copped one around the chops, but he's all right. Once the free kick's yours, you always feel a little bit better, don't you, Lockie?
Yeah, I'm fine. Get the doctors off the field. And it was Nelligan there. Kick out towards Ironello. Did he keep it in? Umpire said he did. It was razor thin on that boundary line. Footy sent back in. Big pack. Everyone kind of goes in over the top. Slap forward out of there by a Broadview player, but it was only as far as the St. Peter's Higgins that was waiting at the stop.
As much as a fan as I am of Nick Michaels, that's the one he's got a crumb. And he's got these two big players there. We don't want to stop players going for hangers, do we, Lockie? But if he darts to the front and centre of that contest, he can snap a goal.
Carlin, speaking of snapping, decides to snap the ball out of defence, although there were four St. Peter's players waiting to send it back in. That's where they go. Ball collected there. Turning and put in by Carruthers. Ball collected by Nelligan, fired back. Michaels on the line. He's able to do some good footwork. Keeps it in. Nelligan, the snapper goal! Nelligan, the miracle! Oh, he's missed. He's missed. Wouldn't that have been exciting?
That's where Michaels is at. He's dangerous. He was on the lead, just wasn't able to take the mark, but he's quick to recover at ground level. Great releasing handball. And Nelligan almost with the beautiful check side finish. Just starting to get their game going and look dangerous inside 50, aren't they, Lockie? They did not look dangerous inside 50 at all in the first quarter, but this quarter they're just looking like they'll score every time they go in.
Broadview, though, yet to score in this quarter, still hold a slender margin of just 4 points as that one gets towards the boundary line. And it's going to go over.
Just to see some of their dominance here now. St. Peter's 7 inside 50s to 2 for the quarter. So they're just starting to get on top, but Broadview's defensive structure, their defenders behind the ball, their numbers around the ball are just holding up. 45 minutes into this game, Lockie, just the one goal for the team second on the ladder.
Hill bouncing ball. He's going to end up getting it back. I don't know whether or not he did that, trying to up his fantasy points. But he got tackled either way. So Bedford was on to that play. Footy goes up again. It's been a bit of contestant work today. Ball punched forward by Carlin. Collected. Well, its intended target there was Bedford, and it worked out okay as it just gets flicked inside forward 50 here for St. Peter's. Allen, he's tackled, crunching in by Hames. And that one is going to be a ball up.
I like what Carlin did in the ruck there. They just need to get some territory going their way, don't they? Great pressure by Broadview. Now they can try and lock the ball in their front half, just their third entry for the quarter.
With Hames, as that's then fired back. Collected, and that's a good tackle on Byrne, making sure he's going nowhere. Umpire has it back. Fired back down, and might work out okay here. O'Leary tries to go charging through, wasn't able to do that. It's good tackle. It's picked up and fired back out. Carlin. He then fires his hand passes, it bounces and was collected, but it's going to be a ball up, or it's going to be holding the ball. It's one of the two. Umpire says it is the latter. So Higgins able to set DeCesare off on a little bit of a journey. One bounce. Does he go again? Decides against that. Kick inside forward 50. Michaels is there. Positioned his defender brilliantly. Got to the bounce of the footy. Kicked it up, and well done. Great mark taken there by George.
Again, Nick Michaels, that is really clever play. Flies for the mark, but he doesn't lose his feet. He's quick to recover. Would have been half tempted to have a little check side at goal, but a brilliant little hand-to-foot pass to the big fella, George, who was in the goal square on his own. So that's a great transition by St. Peter's, who are starting to look really dangerous, aren't they? And great play by Michaels in the forward pocket.
Well, Michaels, somewhat ironically, landed like a jungle cat. As George lines up. Can he kick a goal? On its way, and he was celebrating before the umpire gave him the signal. So they now hit the front there, do Spock. They move it to 2-5-17. Broadview 2-2-14. Kieran Hayuketsu's scoreboard.
Yeah, good response here by St. Peter's. Certainly under pressure in that first quarter, weren't they? But the game's just starting to open up a little bit, isn't it? And they're looking dangerous in the front half. That's the difference from the first quarter. The first quarter, they did get the ball inside 50 a little bit, but there were a lot of scrubby entries. They didn't look dangerous at all. But this quarter, they're talented players. They're getting some one-on-ones, and when you give talented players one-on-one looks at the ball, Lockie, players like Michaels, good things will happen. So 2 transition goals by St. Peter's in front.
Ball goes up, collected by O'Leary, who just sends it forward for Broadview. Desperate to get that lead back, in which they have lost. Ball fired forward by Allen. And McKinnon. McKinnon then finds his teammate in Carruthers, and Carruthers got it forward to Higgins, and Higgins' kick behind its intended target of DeCesare. He's trying to claim that he touched it, but the umpire wasn't having a bar of that. So it was last touch out of bounds, ended up in the hands of Broadview. They go back down the wing. Hames takes a good mark, gives the hand pass off to the runner. Kick up towards half forward. But here goes St. Peter's. Bedford turning. In the end, on the half volley, managed to hit up Allen. Just walking through there. I think the season parted for him was Hames, and it ends up being an excellent overhead mark. He just has ended up there in the hands of the Tigers, inside forward 50.
Yeah, big moment in the game there. Like if St. Peter's rebound and go back inside 50 there, they're really on a roll. The game needs Broadview to kick the next one, doesn't it, Lockie? Because we want to see this close finish. We want to see an upset. They got the turnover, and we've got, is it Byrne with the shot on goal? Need a straight kick for his team here.
Byrne simply must. And simply doesn't. It held, and it was a behind in the end. So 2-3-15 plays 2-5-17. is just a 2-point ball game.
Need to defend well here, Broadview. Try and keep the ball in their front half. St. Peter's will maintain the ball with short passes. This is where you, as a defensive unit, need to just hedge your bets, force them to take a tricky kick, and then pounce.
So in the back pocket, St. Peter's kick forward McKinnon. McKinnon then turns. Looks up the line.
That's the one.
It was, but it's intercepted, and here they go, trying to work their way through. The dance step was pretty good. The ball goes inside from Quaney towards the hot spot, but Rundle, the saviour of St. Peter's at the minute.
He's been really good, Rundle, hasn't he? They did it perfectly there, Broadview. They hedged their bets. They forced the difficult kick. They turned it over. And again, St. Peter's ball didn't quite bounce. Broadview going to attack again.
O'Leary, they're trying to twist and get their way inside. Wilson, and that is a grab. He's done well. Believe, going back here, for Broadview, just to make absolute dead certainty of this one. It's Costa.
Yeah, great mark by Costa, and just clunked it beautifully, just held his position at the back. Again, it was the turnover, wasn't it? It looked like St. Peter's were out, but the ball turned back over, kicked to a dangerous spot. Great mark by Costa.
Costa steps in and kicks a goal. Easiest of conversions for him. Broadview, their first of the second quarter, moving to 3-3-21, and everyone comes around to celebrate with the number 7.
Yeah, it's a big goal for the context of the game. I know it's still early, like a bit of St. Peter's just were getting on top and looking to transition the ball relatively easily from defensive half into their dangerous forwards, but Broadview just are applying enough pressure. A couple of small errors for St. Peter's, not big ones. But Broadview have been able to rebound and get the turnover goal that they desperately needed and the game needed, and we've got a ball game.
Sometimes, though, mistakes are mistakes. Doesn't matter whether or not they're big or small. It does hurt them. Dartfish there bringing us the replay. And the Kieran Hayo Ketsu scoreboard sees a 4-point ball game in favour of the Tigers. We're not witnessing an upset, are we? It's too early to start singing about that. We've still got a half a game to go.
It's got the ingredients for one, though. Long way to go, but Broadview are bringing all the ingredients to take this match deep.
Could you imagine? Shock last week. They got the job done there. And then a loss. The footy goes down, and that one's collected and fired forward. A long high footy collected at the back, Allen. Well, this St. Peter's defence has been under siege. When you got the captain back there, it'll be okay, Bedford. There's a handball off as the chain begins in the centre of the ground. Waltzing his way through there is Allen. There's a good mark as well. Turning nice and quickly there to Cesare. Cesare goes inside. And that is Michaels doing his absolute best to be damaging.
That looked easy on the screen. I can tell you that that was a brilliant mark. He let out, but the kick was going to go over his head. He stopped, prop, used his body beautifully, and he's got sticky fingers, doesn't he? He's a real tricky matchup. You've got to put almost a tall defender on this guy who's quick because he'll outmark any small opponent. Great mark again by Michaels.
Michaels walks in and kicks a goal. So St. Peter's, they find their knife point and stab, and they're back in front. 3-5-23 plays Broadview's 3-3-21. It's a tight arm wrestle at the minute.
Yeah, it's really the class of Michaels that's separating this game, to be honest. Like I said, St. Peter's are starting to move the ball around, but he's kicked 2 and he's assisted on the 3rd, Michael. So he is a super dangerous player. We didn't see much in the first quarter. There was a lot of scrubby entries, but he's getting some one-on-ones. And yeah, I'm not sure, like I said, it's a tricky matchup, isn't it? You've got to put someone that's good overhead. You've got to get someone that's good on the ground against this guy. Super impressive player, and an underrated player is Nick Michaels in this competition.
Yeah, he is. But he goes back up. That one from Hill. So he just waltzes past everybody, sends it high. Carlin came crashing through at the back, though. It is with St. Peter's, and Allen saw the safety of the boundary line and had to take it.
It's a good play by Allen. It just relieves the pressure when you take the ball over the line. Now they'll look again, the same game style. They'll look to maintain the ball. Broadview have manned up pretty well. They're going to force a slightly longer kick.
Kick and grab as well. Fantastic. There's been some absolute brilliant grabs today.
Whoa.
Oh, turnover though. That kick
This is what Broadview are doing really well, though, Lockie. They're sitting back and they're ready to pounce. Obviously, they can see that St. Peter's are going to look to maintain the ball with short passing, and their players are just staying close enough to tempt them and then hunting it down. Great intercept there again by Byrne. He had a shot from a similar spot only a couple of minutes ago. Can he put this one through?
See what he's able to do. Kick. Looking
Brilliant
pretty
kick.
good. Looking really good. Now moves to 4-4-28 for the Tigers. Spocko's 4-5-29.
So this is the game of footy here, isn't it? So St. Peter's, when they were able to go uncontested end-to-end, all three of their goals, St. Peter's this quarter, have come from defensive 50 transition ball movement. Both of Broadview's goals this quarter have come from forcing turnovers from that early stages of the ball movement. So really well done by Broadview. Exactly what the game needed. And they stay in front.
Yeah. So
Well done by Byrne. Learned from that first shot on goal, didn't he? Aimed it beautifully, struck it well from 45.
So Broadview have a 5-point lead. Ball goes up again. And Anyang might be able to get that one out, not able to. So it's going to be a ball up here.
So maybe a couple of minutes to go till half-time. I said at quarter-time Broadview would want a half-time lead. Need to stand firm here.
Ball might be able to get worked forward, wasn't. And that one is going to get ripped out there by Higgins. Able to fire a hand pass forward. Just any territory will do there for St. Peter's. Picked up Broadview. Big clearance to win, and it was. Footy bounces. Rolls past Byrne, who's been pretty good in the second half. Rundle. Big contest there. Second half of this quarter. What I meant there in regards to Byrne.
Yeah, good footy there. Slightly late bump. Good umpiring. Not a lot in it, but the right call. Downfield free. St. Peter's can relieve. They'll take the risky ball into the midfield, and they're away through Ironello.
Don't mind that from Collie, and Ironello able to take a great mark as well. High footy. Big fist at the back. Working out, bounces towards Nelligan. He waited for it. Able to take it. Kicks towards his teammate in Bedford. Bedford's after it. Still with Bedford. Diving desperately, but he wasn't able to trap it on this occasion. The numbers run out here for the Tigers. And towards Costa. Ironello flicks it back over the top of his head. Allen. Bedford. And Bedford just able to almost do half a dance step and then get the footy back. And here he goes moving forward. Kick inside. Michaels takes it on his chest.
So fifth mark inside 50 for the quarter, St. Peter's, and only took one in the first. So their forward 50 entries have certainly looked more dangerous, and this guy's proving a handful, isn't he? But he's tucked right up on the right side in the forward pocket here. I reckon he's pretty keen to have a ping, though. He's a player that's capable.
Michaels kicks towards the paint of 50. Bedford, did he bring it down? Not able to. Instead, it was his opponent, Mackenzie, who has not paid the mark.
Again, clever play by Michaels. He didn't think he could kick the goal. He didn't lob the ball to the goal line. He put the ball to 15 metres out. Weren't able to take the mark. Now they've got a stoppage in a dangerous area.
This is real dangerous. And that is going to be a ball up.
Need to get all their numbers back here, Broadview, and get their forwards really high. Cannot concede a goal. The siren would be imminent.
So nearly at half-time here in what's been a seesawing contest, a very entertaining game. Another behind. As we move to 3-6. Plays 4-5. Sorry, 4-5 plays. Yes, 3-5. That was my bad. I apologise. Footy back. Crossing out.
Not what they needed there, Broadview. They're going to have to defend again. A late attack. He might be shooting after the siren here, Bedford. And I reckon he thinks he can kick it. He is not rushing here. He reckons he can slot a drop punt through here.
Well, I reckon I've seen him kick goals like this. So maybe with good thinking here, he thinks he can kick it. Bedford steps in. Kick on its way. That one's drifting across the face. Was it a goal? No, it was a behind. Came off hands.
Just dodged the bullet there on the siren. Needed to thump that through Gave Michaels a look at it, but well done to Broadview. They've taken that half-time lead that I said they needed.
4-4-28, plays at 3-6-24. Excellent game of footy so far. Here at half-time, we've got plenty of footy still to come. It is St. Peter's trailing to the 10th place Broadview. They lead this one by just the 4 points.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
New 氷結 Vodka, soda, and frozen natural fruit juice. Hello, yes.
We've been housemates for, what, nearly 4 years?
Yep. Basically, since I started my uni degree and you got your apprenticeship.
It's been really good. Like, it's the little things, you know? Like, one of us is always around to house it when the other goes on holiday. And one of us is always ready to help the other out of jam.
I don't know. Yeah, happen again. It's usually me. My HECS debt doesn't leave a lot of room for holidays or working transportation or food. But it's worth all the debt, right?
No.
But what about your debt?
Debt isn't a problem for me. I get paid to learn.
You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
g'day everybody. Welcome back to Broadview. It's been a great game of footy so far as St. Peter's are coming out very, very shortly on the ground. We can see them now running. But we are just going to go around the grounds nice and quickly. It's a draw at Sacred Heart, 4-5-29, plays 4-5-29. Golden Grove at 4-11-35. Prince Alfred winning that game. That would be a big result if that stands, 6-9-45. Port District, 2-7-19. Ross Trevor got a bit of a jump, 6-2-38. Paynham 6-8-44, plays Glenunga's 4-5-29. Couple of shock results around the Adelaide Footy Leagues. I welcome back in Adam Jeffries.
Yeah, there's a couple of upsets brewing around the league today, especially here as well. But all of my tips pre-match are currently wrong. So that's what Division 1 does. It's an even competition. If you kick accurately, you can be in any game. If you put pressure on the opposition, even here it's 2 versus 10 on the ladder. We've got a close ball game. Great to see. We'll keep an eye on the scores at the other grounds throughout the afternoon.
Yeah, not something we were certainly expecting. A couple of shock results. The one that really stands out to me, though, is that Ross Trevor Port District game. It doesn't look like Port District are playing too badly. It just looks like they're just kicking inaccurately.
Yeah, you've got to take your chances in front of goal, don't you? If they were 7-2 Port Districts, everyone say how well they're playing, but you don't know without seeing it. There can be a lot of pressure applied. It's the same here. Broadview just had a couple of nice accurate shots on goal, haven't they? They find themselves in front on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they're playing, again, a really, really good brand of footy at the minute are the Tigers. But St. Peter's, they haven't been too far wrong. Obviously, 3 goals, 7 has left them in a little bit of a precarious situation. Again, that's 7 goals, 3. Everyone's talking about how this one's on track, but Broadview taking the most of their chances.
Yeah, Broadview taking chances, but this has been really strong defensive game so far by Broadview. I think their structures around the ball are been really good. We haven't seen St. Peter's been able to link up with handball and easily chain the ball out. We've seen St. Peter's get through the defensive 50 to attack a few times, but I think Broadview have held up really, really well. They've defended the forward 50 stoppages of St. Peter's really, really well with lots of body contact and numbers around the ball. So super impressive half of football by Broadview. They don't look like a team that hasn't won a game so far this year, do they? If they can bring this type of football for the rest of the year, they'll certainly get a few wins on the board. Long way to go in this game. St. Peter's won't panic, but they know they've got a game on their hands now. They're behind on the scoreboard at half-time. Like I said, they just looked threatening, didn't they? I think Michael's at full forward for St. Peter's is really separating the teams at the moment. He's a matchup that Broadview just can't shut down. Broadview don't quite have really that winner in the front half, do they? But aside from that, really, really impressive first half by Broadview. It's low scoring, but it's been entertaining as well, Lockie, for mine.
Yeah, absolutely it has been. It's been one of the most entertaining games I think we've had really all season up till this point. It's
got all the ingredients for an upset. Are we going to go late? Are we going to see a close finish?
Yeah, I know. Could you imagine an upset here? Broadview finals would be the furthest thing from their mind. But a win, could you imagine how much that would do to catapult their season? They'd start to believe again. And it would be very, very interesting, that is for sure. But as we march back out to the centre, it's going to be an interesting battle, that is for sure. Bone up against Anyang. That'll be your first ruck pair. It was your first ruck pair in the first half. Let's see how this one unfolds. My apologies. It's actually going to be Henry up against Anyang. See how this goes. And we are away. Broadview by 4. Well, Broadview by 3, we should say, as the ball goes back to the centre. Snapped and turned by Carruthers. Footy collected by Colley. Just kind of bounced into him, really. But O'Leary able to clear as well. Ball now back with Bedford as Bedford turns. Gets it to half forward. Nelligan thinking about releasing quickly. Had better ideas, though. Does he look? Releasing the kick inside 50. Does he look towards the hot spot? Does he look at goal?
He's ignored a few leads here, so if he can't make the distance, he needs to put the ball at 15 metres out and not right on the goal line. Let's see what happens.
Steps in. Runs around to get a little bit of distance. Has a kick, and that one is, well and truly offline. Had the distance, no worries. Just the accuracy potentially a little bit sacrificed there. Margin just 2 points now, Broadview's lead. They did lose it for stages of the second quarter, but they've let it both changes so far in this game. 11 and then 3 points. So the Tigers looking to get off the mark in season 2025, but Bedford went up, emerged quickly, guided inside forward 50, and kicks a behind.
Probably the one player on the ground, Broadview, you don't want to chip the ball to, isn't it? He and then didn't man the mark as well, so really dodged a bullet there, Broadview. Slow out of the gates here.
Yeah, so the Tigers, they won't want to sink into what's become habit for the first part of this season. Ball turned over here. Hamish Allen, one of the 3 Allens out there today. Big fist away. Anyang was able to get a hand pass across, and that is almost a free kick, but there were cries. Umpire let him play, though. Bedford was there. Allen picks it back up, sends it into orbit a little bit with a kick. Big fist forward. Collected there by Ianello. He then fires back towards Colley. Colley turning, drilling kick, and the umpire said play on. DeCesare didn't take the mark, or it was touched. Something happened there.
Bit unlucky there. I think the umpire said it didn't travel 15. Looked like it might have been right on the cusp.
And DeCesare certainly asking the question, what more do I have to do, he says. Bursting through the stoppage there. Anyang nearly got to the top of the play. It's going to be fired back there. Nelligan, Bedford, Anyang, he was next to go, did well. Got the hand pass up towards Costa. He's back in again, tries his way through a different route as Hill. And that is a kick that's going to be intercepted, fired back forward. Bedford's there. And Bedford, well, nearly ran himself into trouble. Was able to get the hand pass across nice and quickly. Allen. And then fires back, and that kick is almost intercepted. And here we are, Edward Allen this time. Gives it across. Running through the centre here is Ty Bedford. And with Colley, the ball goes inside forward 50. The attacking zone now of St. Peter's. Nelligan, snapping ball, dribbling ball. Punched offline. And that was desperate defending by Saint. A heavenly save, if you will.
Yeah, he's had a lot of the ball inside 50, Nelligan, in this game, but he hasn't quite been able to finish yet, has he? Again, went for the dribble, spectacular finish. Just hanging on here, Broadview. They're just slow to come out of the blocks here. St. Peter's applying a lot of pressure. They've had 5 inside 50s to 0, but haven't scored yet, Lockie.
8 scoring shots to 13 for the game. That might tell a little bit of a story, especially if St. Peter's lose. They have had their opportunities to this point. They've blown a few of them, though. Ianello. Long kick towards the hot spot at the back. Oh, nearly grabbed. Umpire said, yep, that one's mine. As the umpire said, sorry, yep, that one's yours there to Ryan.
Great mark there by Ryan. Just hasn't been able to get in the game, Johnny Reid, today, hasn't he? Michaels has been the target inside 50, as well as Big George down there. Johnny Reid just struggling to get into the game and beating in the one-on-one there.
Kick. Then goes up the line. And now into the centre of the ground it goes. Hames gives the hand pass off. They've got a little bit of run here off of half-back. The long ball didn't quite work out. There's a tackle there by O'Leary. The high up and under. Bouncing footy should be collected. It wasn't. Bumped off it. Anyang turns. Burst of speed. Kick intercepted. Not one of his better ones there from the talented ruckman. Higgins back inside. DeCesare. He found the footy back where it came from. And DeCesare, well, takes his time to make a decision. Might have to go down the line with no other options presenting. So does just that. 2 on 2. Oh, flying, leaping. Absolutely brilliant from McKinnon, but wasn't quite able to bring it in.
It's Johnny Reid flying over the back there. Good to see. That's a better launch from him. Needs to come up and meet the football and get involved in this match.
So it would have been a screamer. It wasn't quite able to bring that one down. Umpire says that one is going to be mine. Another plane comes in. Plane watch, Adelaide Footy League 2025 continues. It was Qantas earlier in the match. Now it was Virgin. And that one is going to be a free kick going the way there of Henry. Henry then turns, puts it out. And that is an excellent effort and a great mark as well. Just able to guide that one onto his chest. And George goes back. Has a goal in the second. Would love to add a goal in the third. Can he kick it from here, Adam?
Yeah, he certainly can. It was a good lead. It's a good play by Henry, the ruckman. He was really decisive there. He got back and hit a beautiful pass into the pocket for George.
See what he's able to do.
7 inside 50s to 0. So they deserve a goal here, St. Peter's. Need a straight shot.
George lines it up and misses that one. Never travelling enough. So goes through. above the post, but unfortunately the wrong side of the post behind for that attempt.
So St. Peter's are just really dominant at the moment. They're only the 1 point up. So what Broadview need to do is soak up this pressure. Lucky with a couple of errant kicks at goal. Need to score a goal on the counter-attack against the flow of play.
Kick towards the outer side. Big fist came in. The front of the pack. Michaels is there. Kick towards Nelligan. Doesn't work out. Collie was there as well for some assistance. Now Collie goes bursting through. Fires it back. Kicks it goal. Bouncing footy. They're going to let it go through. Brilliant effort. And that is another goal on the board. And that looks like it's going the way of Michaels again.
That was deserved goal, wasn't it, by St. Peter's. Had Reid in the square all on his own, and the ball took a big bounce over his head. Luckily went straight. Big full forward would have been happy if it fell into his arms. He kicked an easy one, but yes, they just cannot clear the ball early in this quarter. Broadview's ball's been living in their defensive 50, turnover after turnover, but eventually the damn wall broke. St. Peter's got the first goal. For Broadview, and you had one wish, you'd want to centre clearance here and get some territory in your front half.
Mr. Chesero's goal, so let's see result there. Footy goes back in. Anyang hands it, was on his knees, was able to get up, get the footy up more importantly. And that one is going to be balled back up. Anyang slaps it down. Again, it was Henry who was involved. Fight at the side. And that one is going to be thrown back up as there is another plane rolling in. Qantas QF, whatever it is. And back to the footy we go. As that one is with Hill. Hill then sends it out wide, and that's a good mark taken as well by Byrne. Byrne kicks it inside forward 50. Still they scrap on. Big kick nearly got it away. They're able to almost step their way through, but Rundle takes a kick, clearing his defensive end, and that's a fantastic grab going back. Able to roll over, and Hart Kelly ends up with the footy at half in the centre of the square, almost towards that half forward area. Kick goes inside the 50. Carlin comes crushing through. And he might have been a little bit too aggressive because Rundle wins himself the ball.
Bit of brick wall at half-back, hasn't he? Rundle been really impressed with his game. Looks composed under the high ball. Gets the free kick there.
Yeah, not much has been able to get past him. And that ball is ended up in the hands of Allen. Hand pass might work back towards Edward Allen. The footy is with Collie. Collie needs to pick it up. Can he pick it up? He traps it. Now he's got to settle, and he does just that. But he's missed. Got the ball to boot, but the scoreboard now reads 4-12-36, plays 4-4-28. One has to wonder how many opportunities St. Peter's have missed.
Yeah, Broadview desperately need the next goal for the game, for their own confidence, because they're getting thoroughly outplayed at the moment, but it's only 8 points and it can turn quickly, and St. Peter's are not taking their opportunities. What have they kicked? 1 goal 5 already this quarter.
Out of side towards the ruck. Anyang not able to wrestle effectively with his opponent there. That one ended up going over and out.
He's an interesting player, Anyang. He's a really good ruckman, but he seems to be a better ground level player than an aerial player, doesn't he? For a man his size, I think he's really good with the ball on the ground, follows up at ground level. Doesn't take a lot of those contested marks. Yeah,
he's an absolute ripping player. Does a brilliant job. Talk about positioning, it's really important as a ruckman, and he positions himself so well at each and every stoppage he's at. Someone goes over the line. It's going to be thrown back in.
You can see him there again. He was the one that got the ground ball, got the handball up to the runners, so he does that really well for a guy. Would be nearly 6'6", wouldn't he?
Yeah, he'd tower over me and probably over the top of you as well, Adam. And there he goes again. That one is going to trickle out. No, the umpire says we're going to have that thrown back up. So another stoppage. Everyone given an opportunity to catch their breath. So Spockos, they've came out the block pretty well. Have St. Peter's. As Carruthers sends it back inside forward 50 or near enough too. Bounces just about on the 50. Nearly able to grab it, but And again, Hart Kelly's there, able to wrap up his opponent. His opponent on that occasion was Fergus Carruthers. No Newman out there today for the Spocks. Really enjoyed his work as well. And I was watching him over in the Sample Under-18s competition and for Spocks this year as well. All falls to the ground. It gets cleared, just a rolling, bouncing footy. Collected, coming back inside. Edward Allen's there again. Bedford, he's the excitement machine. And Hill running down the wing. And everyone goes sliding in here. Lots of bodies around this football. Does it get out? Hill went back in. Repeat second efforts. That's an absolute coach's dream, but unfortunately, Spock going to emerge with the footy. Bedford. Nelligan. And Nelligan will back.
Good mark by Nelligan, actually. Protected the drop zone beautifully there. We've seen him at a lot of disposal. He doesn't want to take this long shot. I said he's had 4 or 5 pings on goal, it feels like, today, and hasn't been able to score as yet. Not sure he's got the distance, so he needs to look for a lead or put the ball to a dangerous spot. 15 out, not on the goal line.
Does he have it in him? Kicks on its way. It's across the face. So, Nelligan, never troubling the majors column a minute, but 14-13 plays at 13-37, plays at 4-4-28. My ability to read numbers, never been the greatest. In the back pocket is the footy. Kicked up the line. Oh, big fly there from Allen, almost. And that one is going to be a free kick here going the way of the Tigers.
Yeah, it was Ed Allen there, flew far too early. Right decision there by the umpire.
So Broadview had a couple of home games in a row. And one last week against Glenunga, which obviously they lost. And now they are here fighting with a pretty desperate St. Peter's team. Ryan towards the outer side. They might have gotten out here, the Tigers, but the slip at the crucial moment opens the door back the other way. In the back was the call. Passed off. And then the kick towards the goal square. And another missed opportunity.
Well, they are peppering away here. That's 11 inside 50s to 2 for the quarter. And by my score, that's 1-7 for the quarter, Lockie. So they're 1 goal away from sort of breaking Broadview a little bit here in a low-scoring game, but Broadview just staying in touch. They just need to get the ball through. So they need their tall forwards to come up and make a contest. And they've gone the risky play again. That's their game style. And they've got the turnover back.
They have got the turnover back. McKenzie off of half-back. Able to get it forward to half-forward Carlin. Was doing some steps on the mark there. He makes his decision, thinks his way through it. Higgins was a player in pole position, and Higgins is the one that's won himself the free kick. Chop of the arms, the umpire says, and he grabs the football. And coming off 16 disposals last weekend, played very well against Shock.
That was the one they wanted, Broadview, there, wasn't it? They got PJ Carlin out in space. He had to wait for his forwards to reset, but he just needed the ball to hit the ground as they had numbers there, but the free kick was paid. Right decision, and St. Peter's on the rebound again.
Here they go. Fired back inside. McKinnon found Allen. The ball bounces. Anyang's there. He's able to pick it up. Able to shrug off an opponent. Gets the kick forward. Bouncing ball. The tap was pretty clever. Now O'Leary's got to go. Does just that. At halfback, they're almost messing around with it a little bit until Wilson finds that kick.
Should be away here.
They should be. And it was Flanagan who got the ball started towards the outer side. Bouncing ball. Costa's there. Nearly has it ripped off him. Does in the end. Rundle's going to end up with the ball. Corridor stuff now. Bedford takes it. And he's off. There he goes. Gives the hand pass across. Nelligan. Inside foot. Oh, nearly worked out okay then. Didn't quite. And Wilson should rebound here for Broadview. Towards the back. Ionello picks it up. Fired back towards Rundle, and Rundle. Trace a bullet. Finds Nelligan, and Nelligan takes a moment. And that kick, bouncing ball, might be okay. Wilson, he's back after it, bouncing. It's a snap on goal towards the goal square. Punched away. This one doesn't look like it's going to trouble the scorers in that pocket. Couple of bumps there from Henry, but that one is going to be a ball up.
What's happening here with all the inside 50s is the Broadview defenders are having to work overtime, Lockie. What they need is a breather. They need the ball to be inside forward 50 for Broadview so they can get a bit of a deep breath and reset because the ball just keeps coming in. The dam wall will break soon.
To Cesare, he was there. Yeah, you mentioned that dam wall breaking. It's getting closer, you feel, before. Margin's only at 10 points, and absolutely they take this with...
Yeah, they're a boxer on the ropes, Broadview, but St. Peter's haven't landed a punch yet. So still game on. 10 points. They would have taken this pre-match as well. Deep into the third, only 10 points down.
They're ducking and weaving at the minute. Just managing to keep their head above water. Keep themselves in the game. Picked up, fired back. Fergus. Michaels, he's a goal sneak. He's proved it already multiple times. That one's up and under. Allen was there. George. And it's a free kick there, going the way of Hamish Allen.
Yeah, definite free kick there, but again, it's that tricky range, isn't it? Does he have the length here from about 45 to 50 metres out? He looks pretty confident. Can he land a little blow on the chin of Broadview, who, again, have defended grimly? Credit to their defenders and mids who have been pushing back and working really hard.
Allen's kick is shaping back. Just the wrong side of the post. So that one trails on the near side. And now they are 4-15. 4 goals, 15. 44. A margin of 39, sorry, to 4-28. And why it's only 11 points? 15 behinds. And you do have to question whether or not that is going to hurt them. If Broadview go on a run, you know, they get 3-4 goals. Is that going to cause a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of regret potentially for the Spockos?
It's 14 inside 50s to 3 for the quarter, but only the 1 goal from the 14 entry. So again, credit to Broadview's defenders who've been right on the hammer of the St. Peter's forwards, forced them into long shots and pressured snaps. We
saw a plane going through. I reckon Reid nearly got as high as that when he made his attempt for the screamer before. That's absolutely brilliant positioning here in Broadview. Able to see the planes as they fly back towards the Adelaide Airport, situated just off of Tapley's Hill Road. Footy rolls and might be collected there by Carruthers. It was. Ball fired out, and that one's going to go over the line. McKenzie sees it over. Still, we wait. We wait and we hope. So Footy gets thrown back in. We're going to see a classic finish to this one. It's been a great game. Broadview certainly rocked up. All fired then. And there is Bedford. Bedford from 50. Unloads it towards the top of the square. And it was right on the goal line, just the wrong side for him. And 4 goals, 16. Another opportunity missed. Even 2-goal margin now.
I wonder if Broadview will try something different here. They're looking to maintain the ball with short passes. They do have some tall forwards that can compete. Surprised they don't come out to Carlin here. The long ball they will on this occasion. They need a contest and a crumb.
Footy up, and that one falls down. That is a bouncing ball towards the line. Hames, can he trap it? He does. And that one is holding the ball. He was trapped and nowhere to go.
Yeah, brilliant tackle by Allen. He just held that arm, didn't he? Chicken winged him a little bit so he couldn't get that handball away once he got that bit of space. So brilliant tackle, and again, Broadview can't get the ball past halfway.
Well, unfortunately, the mullet wasn't saving him then. Oh, it does give him a bit of style. Collie. Decides that he's going to load up. Send it towards the 50. Great mark in front. Backing back quickly, there is Bone. Sorry, backing back quickly, there is Henry, I should say.
He's had a good quarter, Henry. It's a bit of an unsized ruckman almost, isn't he? But he's good overhead. Normally a nice foot pass. Again, St. Peter's are having a lot of shots from that 50 to 52 range, which is one of the reasons why they're inaccurate. They're probably hoping one will go through soon, but it's very difficult for local footballers to clear the line accurately from this range.
Yeah, but that is also a reward of the defending that Broadview are doing as well. They're making them take those opportunities, aren't they, Adam? It's, you know.
They've had no set shots from inside 25, 30 metres, have they? They've all been long shots. So, yes, it is. That is correct at home. That is 1 goal 9 this quarter for St. Peter's. But hasn't been, like I said, they've dominated the field position. But Broadview are applying a lot of pressure. Just desperate to get the ball out of this back half.
They are. Kick. Now. Goes up, and they're desperate. Their defence will just be desperate for some kind of relief. They've been under constant stress.
And there's the risky ball.
It works out.
Off. Can they get through here?
Hames turns, gives the footy inside, and Manning really liked his game today. He then gave it back towards Modra, and Modra is kicked, chopped off. That's been the entries inside forward 50. That was also let Broadview down, I think. There's been a couple that have been chopped off. Rundle is an incredible player, so you're going to have to do well to get around him. But meantime, Carruthers is down the line. Big fist to the front of the contest. Fergus Carruthers this time. Oh, pickpocket. Bye-bye, he says. And there goes Luke Grant Allen. Fired it up the line, and that was a great mark as well by Rundle, who's going to back. And this is what I mean. He's been doing this. This is the 4th, 5th time he's done that this afternoon, at least.
Yeah, they've defended so grimly here, Broadview. St. Peter's have been able to set one extra at that half-back line. They just haven't been able to break through, because if Broadview had have kicked a goal, and they're a chance here on a turnover.
Here they go, gliding back through. Kick was chopped off. Umpire said play on. And that one is sent out towards Ianello, who's been doing some brilliant things as well. There is Bedford. Oh, he flies. He's an exciting player. And he wins himself a free kick too.
And this is a guy that can use the ball. They're desperate to find a mark a little bit closer to goal. But again, Broadview have got some good numbers back, clogging up all the little pockets of space.
Gives it across. Allen, does he look to go? Decides against that, pulls the kick.
That is brilliant play by Allen. That's exactly the pass that his team needed. It looked like he was going to blaze again from 52 like a lot of his teammates have. But he just lowered his vision, hit that beautiful little 15-metre pass. And is it...
That is Fergus Carruthers.
Fergus Carruthers with the ball. This guy can kick a straight shot. Desperate to land a little punch here, St. Peter's.
So what can Carruthers do? They need desperately to get some reward for their dominance in the Premiership quarter. And they don't. It's almost as if there's a force field around the goal stopping them.
No, they're all drifting to that right as well, aren't they? And nearly every shot has drifted to the right-hand side of the goalpost. So I'm very confident it's not windy out there. Sometimes when you're having long shots, you just need to just change that aim, because the ball will drift in the air.
Kick. Oh, chopped off. And McKinnon from half forward, able to start an attack inside. Basically impossible to defend. And right on the siren. They have struggled all quarter to convert their shots. And if Michaels misses, then we know it's a problem.
Be interesting to see the replay here. Yeah, he might have just got it before it hit the turf.
Like he was playing slips, almost just able to get his fingers under the footy.
Would have been not out under the DRS system, but this is one guy that can slot it through. Michael's looking for his 3rd of the afternoon.
Yeah. Kick is on its way. Shaping back. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. Spock finally gets some reward. 5-17. You heard that correct. 5-17. Plays 4-4, and they needed to turn to their leading goal kicker in Nick Michaels to drag that margin back towards the 19 points. Have a look at that on the Dartfish. Absolutely delicious. And that was a big goal for Michaels and for Spock. They lead this one by 19 points, and we'll see you on the other side of this for a fascinating final quarter.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
New 氷結 Vodka, soda, and frozen natural fruit juice. Hello, yes.
We've been housemates for what, nearly 4 years?
Yep. Basically, since I started my uni degree and you got your apprenticeship.
It's been really good. Like, it's the little things, you know? Like, one of us is always around to house it when the other goes on holiday. And one of us is always ready to help the other out of jam.
I don't know. Yeah, happen again.
It's usually me. My HEC stat doesn't leave a lot of room for holidays or working transportation or food. But it's worth all the debt, right?
No.
But what about your debt?
Debt isn't a problem for me. I get paid to learn.
You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
Well. This is going to be absolutely massive. Can Broadview do it? They're down by 19. It's not totally closed doors, but Sprott, they've been good, if not inaccurate, in that quarter. And we can see there Mike O'Leary giving the address. It's going to be important, boys, that we are in this for the long haul. They've got to do what they were doing in that third quarter again, because they were able to restrict Broadview scoring shots, and potentially they're able to kick a few of their own as well.
Oh, it was an utter domination by St. Peter's in that quarter. It was 17 inside 50s to 5. Kept Broadview scoreless, but amazingly kicked 2 goals 10 for the quarter. Now, a lot of that was brought about by Broadview's pressure. Had a lot of long shots on goal. What they did late in the quarter, they just started lowering their vision going inside 50s, which they desperately needed, but they were dominant at that quarter, around the ball, inside 50. And if they had to kick 5 or 6 goals, it would have broken it right open. But if I'm Broadview, you know what? If you had said pre-match, Lockie, we'd only be 19 points down at three-quarter time, I'd take that. And can we make a little run here? What they desperately need is the first goal. Absolutely desperate for that first goal. And when it's got to come from a centre clearance, their mids have had to do so much defending, getting back behind the ball and defending. And then when you get to the stoppage, you're a little bit knackered and you can't go and win the ball and get the territory battle going your way. So see if Broadview can just reset here. Just get a little bit of territory in their front half. Find the first goal, Lockie. One of those days, it's a strange day of football. Some close matches at the other grounds as well, where an upset can occur.
Yeah, we just having a look around the grounds as well. Sacred Heart over the top of Salisbury North by just a singular point. Prince Alfred are trailing there against Golden Grove. They managed to rectify their situation. And Ross Trevor lead it by 8 against Port District. Port District's poor goal kicking letting them down there. And Payneham Norwood Union lead it by 10 points over the top of Glenunga. Interesting games all around though.
Yeah, it's one of those days. There's a few upsets. Do Broadview have one little fight back left in them?
Well, you may be able to hear it on the effects mic, but Skippy is back in the sky as we get ready to go again. Another Qantas flight comes in. And let's get ready to rumble. One more final quarter. The siren goes. The umpire holds the ball aloft. The Rucks stare each other down, and we are away. Ball ends up in a bit of a dead heap. Then kicked forward there by Broadview. They needed to get the first clearance, and that's what they did. Excellent grab. Turning was Jones. They've just kind of batted up to himself. Kick inside, though. Favoured Ianello and Ianello only.
Good play by Ianello, getting back as a wingman to chop that off, but not the forward entry that they needed, Broadview. They needed to go long and strong to the goal square and put St. Peter's under a little bit of pressure.
That one goes back across. It finds Carruthers. Carruthers up the line finds Allen. And there was a bit of a bump then. The umpire says, let's play on and move on with it, lads. Ball bounces inside Bedford. How good have both of them been today? The cousins combining, but Nelligan got involved as well, and now towards the back. Can Michaels do it? Can he worry his opponent out of it? Can he soccer it forward? Did he soccer it forward? No.
Again, he's dangerous, Michaels, because he doesn't go to ground, does he? Looks like his opponent's going to go to ground. He stays on his feet. He'd be disappointed he didn't take the mark.
Now, I'm by no means a medical expert, but I think that is because he's got such a strong core on him that he's just able to, even with people hanging off of him, still keep his feet.
Oh, it's strength. It's easy to go to ground. The good players stay on their feet.
Ball out. Young had 3 to deal with, wasn't able to. And there is Bedford, twisting, turning, sends it up. Ball then grabbed there as Saint sends it up. The interception. Oh no, here they go again. Spocko's on fire.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a training drill now, isn't it? I said, bar the training, you'd love to kick a bit more accurately, wouldn't you? But it's turnover, it's maintained possession, fat side lead by Reid. Like I said, he's had a bit of a quiet day, the big fella. He'll be pretty keen to get his name on the score sheet here.
It's almost like a second, less accurate but better all-round team came out for Spocko's after half-time. And they've just got a gear that Broadview don't have. Reid. Goals. And that might be all she wrote. Up against it now. Reid gets his first on the day. And they start the fourth with a flurry.
Yeah, it's a long way back for Broadview now, isn't it? They haven't scored since the second quarter, let alone kicked the goal. So it's a long way back. The dam wall's opened a little bit. St. Peter's just started to win that arm wrestle, didn't they, in the second quarter? And really, since about halfway through that second quarter, they've been dominant and just starting to get a little bit of reward now.
It was on the dartfish there. Reid might have just put the fourth nail in a valiant Broadview effort. Certainly nothing to be taken away from the Tigers here. But they are staring relegation right in the face at the minute. Ball goes up again. Carlin might be able to win it up. Flicks it back. O'Leary. Ball towards the outer side. Carruthers paddles it back. Well done by Michaels. Able to just emerge with the ball from the back of the stoppage. Fires it up. Footy had a little bit of air on it. Made way for a contest. And Nelligan still. So the Footy's paddled back with a bit of a toe poke. I'm not sure that Mondra meant to do that. Poke that back. But that one is over and out anyway. And there's the ball boy. That's a great way to get your start in footy. Collecting footies on the boundary line.
Getting a round of applause from his mates up there at the scoreboard. Well done.
Yeah, good work. Back we go. Oh, no. The seas just parted for Bedford and he missed.
It's been close today, Bedford. He's had a few flying shots on goal, hasn't he?
Can't believe it. Look at him. Hands on his head. Yet to trouble the scorers, but he's done basically everything else you'd expect from him.
Yeah, he's been brilliant today. What I like about his game is he was there for his team early when the game was hot. There's going to be plenty of easy ball in this last quarter. As again, they picked him out, just as we're talking about him.
I'll tell you what, his teammates are trying to hit him up, but he's such a smart operator that he's able to read the kicks for Broadview as well. So he's almost made it look as if they're trying to hit him up as well.
Yeah, it's a really risky kick there for Broadview, but that's what they're going to try. They're going to try and take a risky ball down the middle and try and score a couple of goals to maybe make this game interesting. But yeah, again, Bedford is dangerous enough when you don't kick the ball down his throat from the opposition. So again, a long shot on goal. He's had a few pings today. Can he kick one straight?
Scott and Ty, they're double trouble, that is for sure. Really important to St. Peter's, and that kick's really straight. And that kick was touched on the line.
Had a few more metres to the man on the mark there too. Really pinged it from outside 50. Probably could have taken another 3 or 4 metres before he launched.
Almost tried to go for the spectacular then. Wasn't quite able to do it there, Bedford. That kick is going to go up the line. And Harms potentially tried to push Rundle out of it, and the umpire, well, it was a mark anyway. So it goes over, collected. Still they dance and fired back. Rundle makes a decision towards Allen. Allen hand passes it back. Kick off a step. And that kick, well, intercepted. Eventually it was going to end up there, though. They'd set up so well behind the ball, had Broadview. That kick's dangerous, really dangerous. And Ianello.
It's a good mark by Ianello. He does not know what's coming. Kept his eyes on the football there. He's had a pretty good day as well, Ianello. Been a solid player.
He's his disposal efficiency is absolutely brilliant as he turns the footy over. I apologise. That's the commentator's curse coming out there as Manning sees that his kick cleared over from the contest.
A little bit of this thing's going out of the game now, hasn't it? Broadview would have, even that three-quarter time after the disappointing third quarter, would have thought they were half a chance, but that first goal to St. Peter's, when that avalanche of behinds, they're 2 goals, 15 down on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it is going to hurt. Margin, of course, now sits at 27 points as one works its way out via Mackenzie, but the footy goes back inside, chopped off. They're still working hard here, Broadview. It's good to see. Just because the game might be gone, they're not dropping their heads. Still after it. Modra kicks inside. Kick chopped off. Higgins. Colley. Inside for George. George dropped it. Bedford got the hand pass out. Nelligan tackled over the line.
And the umpire has paid holding the ball, finally. Certainly the right decision. Well done by the big fella. He's tried hard all day, hasn't he?
Yeah, Anyang, he has not. He's certainly not been one that's had his colours lowered at all. Been really, really good all day.
And a player like Nelligan, who's normally slippery and can brush the big fellas aside, it was a good effort by Anyang.
Yeah, he's certainly not. He's certainly got a lot of agility as well. You don't see that often with big men. Sometimes they are a little bit slow, but he certainly doesn't fall into that category at all. As that footy is going to end up in the hands of St. Peter's. And it's going to end up in the hands of McKinnon. And McKinnon doesn't waste any time. Loose checking from Broadview, and that's disappointing.
We've called McKinnon's name a lot in the second half, hasn't he? He might have been a little bit quieter early, had a little bit of the football, but yeah, he's good in close, but he finds pockets of space as well, McKinnon.
I just needed a bit of time to warm up as Carruthers has the footy. Can he kick a goal? Yet to trouble the scorers today. Kicks on its way. Across the face. And we move to 6:20:56 to 4:28. Not a drop, no real wind at all. It's just been, I think, Broadview, to their credit, have worked really hard at making St. Peter's take some shots outside of that 30 zone, where you kind of almost double your chance of being able to kick a goal.
Yeah, they haven't been missing set shots from 20 out, have they, St. Peter's? They've all been a lot of long shots, but there's certainly a few they'd love to brush up on and kick, that's for sure, when they played a better opposition.
Rundle towards the hot spot. You generally kick them from there, but Broadview's defence has been resolute all day. And that one runs out of room. And Modra sees it over. Umpire says, "Thank you, we'll have that back." And you'll just see there, Channel 9 on the back of the umpire's uniform. They were here today doing a piece on umpire abuse. Of course, we don't like it in our game. So
umpires have been very good so far in this game and haven't heard too many remonstrations from the crowd, which is good to see.
As they are each and every week, the umpires, they really do try their best as the footy works its way forward and goes charging through Bedford. He's then tackled and stopped as well.
It's always interesting, the umpiring side of things, isn't it? It's knowing that it's okay for players to make mistakes, but umpires have to be perfect. It's a crazy thing, isn't it?
Carruthers, we almost put too much pressure on them. No one's perfect. We're all human. As Carruthers ends up with the ball. This is the Fergus variety, and he's going back at an opportunity before. This one's a lot closer to home. You would normally expect him to kick it, but with the way St. Peter's goal kicking has gone today, potentially not.
These are the ones you want to kick, though. When you're directly in front, you're sort of 35, 40 metres out. Good Division 1 players should be able to slot this through. And he's under no real pressure in terms of the game as well, so.
Worked hard, deserved the goal. Nice to see him have some reward as well. Kicks, and does get his first in this contest. So his teammates will get over to him. Fergus Carruthers, a bit of a smile on his face, couple of embraces, and he moves himself along to 7, and he moves his team along to 7:20, plays 4-4.
It's almost a bit of a wry smile just in terms of, hey, we finally kicked a set shot through, boys.
Thank God for that, is what he was probably thinking. Because it's all well and good, and you can make excuses. Not that you ever do want to make excuses when you are 50 out and your chances are incredibly slim. But once you get within that 30 metres, you've really got to be making those opportunities count.
And he did on that occasion, and It's been a good game of footy. The scoreboard looks ugly, really, for both teams, does it? But it has been an entertaining game to watch and call. Don't be distracted by the actual score. It has been an entertaining game.
Sometimes those games that are really close and not a whole lot of teams score, and there's not a whole lot of teams scoring, those are sometimes the best games to watch. As the footy goes inside forward 50, as Rundle takes another mark. And I tell you what, he's looking really, really good back there. As he does each and every week, but he shocks you a little bit. Carruthers had a bit of a higher roll up the ground, if that makes sense for today. Bedford then sends it out, as there's the footy that should be trapped and is by the last goal kicker in Carruthers. Carruthers then finds Nelligan, and Nelligan finds George. No, he doesn't. Knocked away at the last second. Broadview's defence still working hard. You'll love to see it. As Hill kicks, and that is going to be intercepted, or no, Costa might get the footy out towards Hames. Hames then fires it through for Costa. Everyone came spinning through. McKinnon was there, gives it across towards Bedford. This is tie variety here. Then gets it up towards George. And George, I've really liked what he's been able to do. Presented well with just troubling the scorers once in the second quarter. Carruthers, that kick went over the top. Collected, waiting down, dangerous forward. Oh, it was nearly dangerous forward play.
Yeah, he has been good, big Harvey George. He's presented a lot. He's almost become the go-to man ahead of Johnny Reid. He's probably dropped 2 or 3 marks, George, that would like to have had, and he could have had an even better day, but he's certainly provided a really good target. He's a solid unit, and once he launches at the ball, he's hard to spoil.
Up the line. And it finds Saint. Saint. Kick almost turned over there by Colley. Now they'll start to burst their way through. Up the line. Oh, it's Anyang one-on-one. His direct opponent in Grant took care of that drama. Sends it across. And up the line. It's with Carruthers. Carruthers, dangerous footballer, is Malachi. Really does present well. Able to work forward. Been working a little bit higher up the ground today. I think he's been on the wing opposite Ianello for most of the contest. Really liked what he's done as well. As up the line they go. That is going to be a ball up.
Yeah, with Carruthers, Allen, Bedford, got some silky smooth players, haven't they? And that's why this goal kicking had let them down, but some of their ball movement is really, really sharp in the back half.
It's almost impossible to stop St. Peter's. When they're at their best, they are almost the best team in the competition. Will they be there on the last day of September? That'd certainly be their goal. And that one goes up as the footy hits the deck, and Hames sends it across. Kick inside from Flanagan. Out the back, and still Broadview don't have a goal in this second half. 13 minutes gone. Kieran Hayuketsu's scoreboard. As that ends up there in the hands of Spockos. And Allen, sorry, apology. Yeah, Allen did have to turn. Set it up towards Bedford. And then Bedford found the releasing kick towards Allen. This is Hamish variety. As that one gets towards Michaels. Collected by Wilson. Wilson finds Flanagan. Flanagan turns inside. Finds Costa. Costa kicked towards his deepest forward, who was standing on the 50 line, in O'Leary. And Edward Allen, the captain, does what he does best, takes a good mark. Already been Moseley team man once, I believe, this season for the stream team. That was again at Park 9. Up the line, finds Hamish Allen, who then goes inside towards Nelligan. Nelligan gives the ball across towards Charlie Allen. All 3 Allens involved in that play. And a mark, no, not to Carruthers. Umpire says that one's going to be thrown up.
Almost could have been a downfield free. Just a little bump after it was kicked inside 50, but play on.
If you're Broadview now, as the footy gets towards the outer side and they might grab the footy here, the Tigers, how difficult is it to keep getting yourself up game after game when you're getting beaten each week?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Lockies, we'll see this play unfold.
O'Leary tried to take on the world.
But yeah, I did coach a season like this. I coached only Jets, and we won one game for the season in Division 1 in 2021, and my job was really just to put a competitive team on the park every week that wouldn't get smashed. And you got to have fun during the week at training, Lockie. That's a key. You can't be too serious. You got to review. You got to take the positives. You got to do fun stuff during the week to keep the morale high, because it is tricky. It is tough being 0-9 and fronting up to training Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday when you know you're unlikely to get a result and you're heading to Division 2 next year.
And there you go. Every other team in this division seems to have a level Broadview don't have. It's disappointing for them, but they'll go in reality. When you look at the numbers and you look at the situation, the chances now of survival are incredibly low. But you think they'll go back down to Division 2, be able to rest, regroup, and come back up bigger and better.
What they need to do, like I said, you've got to keep morale up with fun during the week, and that's up to the coach to create that environment, and I'm sure he is. And just keep around and sniff that upset, because that one win can make you feel $1 million. You'd rather go 1-17 than zipping 18. So let's hope for them that if they can play like they did in the first half, find a little bit more scoreboard pressure, anything's possible.
Hill nearly had it out. And the other thing as well is I've seen it, you see it happen in England a lot with the English pyramid of football, where teams that get demoted heavily relegated. You look at Derby, for example, back in the day when they went down with a total of 14 points. Things like that mean you open yourself up to go further back down the divisions as well. If you get a couple of wins and you go down, you protect yourself from just having that demotion or that relegation repeatedly.
Well, what's happening in the Adelaide Footy League, Lockie, is the Division 2 competition is getting stronger and stronger. That started during the sort of COVID years, and a lot of good clubs, a la Henley, Goodwood, etc., Ross Trevor, Payneham, some of the big football clubs have gone down to Division 2 and really improved the standards, in my opinion. So it's very difficult to go down and come straight back up. We saw Payneham do that. 1 year down, made the grand final in Division 2, came straight back up. But it's no given that you go down and you've got to recruit and you've got to get better, because the Division 2 competition is getting stronger and stronger as we see the turnover here. And it's really, as things gone out of this game, Lockie, a little bit of a game of ring-a-ring-a-rosy at the moment.
It is a little bit of a game of ring-a-ring-a-rosy, and I know we've already done it, but Ang Yang has been super impressive today. He took the intercept mark as Carruthers goes in and nearly found a teammate. Didn't quite. Umpire said that one might have hit the dirt and it's going to be a ball up.
And we think he got the bump ball on three-quarter time. And what the umpire has he paid the mark here, has he?
Potentially the mark, potentially a free kick. Either way, Michaels has got the football.
I thought he might have said player. Maybe the boundary umpire intervened there and said he did mark it, but whatever. Michaels, who was really good in that second quarter in particular when his team needed him.
Michaels has missed.
He's disappointed. He thought that potentially went through.
He'll ask the question, but it wasn't to be. 7:21, it plays at 4-4. It is a margin that is starting to... And this is harsh as well, because Broadview have not been a team that have been beaten by 40 points today.
Yeah, but they haven't scored even a single point since the second quarter. So they're potentially lucky that hasn't been more. We've sung their praises because they're the underdog, but they've only had 8 scoring shots for the day. But I've been impressed with their effort, and I've been particularly impressed with their defensive structure. Just think they needed to find a way to get the ball out of the danger area in that third quarter. I think they've got good skilled players behind the ball, and you want to maintain the ball, but sometimes in football you just have to go 50 metres up the line, get some numbers at that contest, and at the very minimum get a stoppage on the wing. They weren't even able to do that. It's just maintaining the ball with short passes until we turn the ball over. So that's something that maybe they can work on. But I've been impressed with Broadview's defenders one-on-one. They've done really well. Around the stoppage, they've defended really well, because we haven't seen St. Peter's handball chain out at any time in this game. They're just lacking 1 or 2 players really forward of the ball to go forward with confidence, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They do. They do lack a little bit, as you mentioned, maybe potentially a player that's just able to go forward, and interception here as Michaels gets it across towards Colley. Colley then has Reed, and Ryan's doing battle with him, but Reed wins out, fires it. And do they snap? Do they ever? They miss. It just didn't quite go the way there of Nelligan. So another behind, 7:23 plays 4-4-28. And they haven't scored, as you mentioned, since half-time. That's demoralising. It also doesn't set you up very well for next week either.
Oh, yeah, I think they'll take a little bit of confidence out of today's game, though, knowing how well they played in the first half. A little bit disappointing for them to not just carry on and find a couple of goals in this second half. They had an opportunity in the third quarter. They could have kicked one goal. They might have just kept it close enough, but let's be brutally honest, St. Peter's have been dominant for probably the last 60 or 70 minutes of this match. It's 30 scoring shots to 8, but it was a really good game and a really good contest up until that third quarter.
Now, up until, yeah, as you mentioned, past half-time, they potentially ran out of steam. Broadview, potentially St. Peter's again found that next level. I think that's what they've got. They've got another gear. You know, Broadview potentially got 4 gears. St. Peter's have got that 5th gear, as do a lot of the other teams in this competition. As there's a big fist away. Ball bounced nicely for Bedford, and Bedford picked it up, fired it across towards Allen. Allen gave it back to Allen, and Carruthers ends up with the ball as well, gets involved. That's Malachi. As Adam Jeffries goes downstairs, who's going to win the awards? Well, only he knows that. As the kick from Colley misses. So another behind. 7:24:66 plays 4:4:28. What is the record? I'll have a bit of a look tonight and see whether or not they hit it. You can tune in on Between the Posts for tomorrow, where I'll give that analysis. Just had a nod from a couple of the fans that are just curious to see whether or not St. Peter's have broken a record. Not a record anyone particularly wants, but again, if you get a win, who really cares? This ball goes over the line. And on the ground comes Costa and Haynes. Two boys that I think have worked pretty hard today. As it gets thrown back in. Ball bounces past everybody. Fired back through. Nelligan trying to work his way to the front of the contest. Wasn't able to do that in front of Manning. Then Manning fired it back. And Beard found the footy in the end. And Carlin went sliding in. Able to trap it, and one bounce. Gave the footy across, then took the contact as well. It was brilliant work as inside. It goes for Broadview. Bouncing ball, Allen. They might get a goal here. And finally. Byrne gets a goal for Broadview. 5-4-34. Ball blindsided Allen. In the sun, he lost it, and in the end, Byrne able to kick a goal. It's a great work there. 5-4 plays 7-24. My producer just whispered in my ear. 2 goals in it. Unfortunately, there, Hugo. There's also 20 points in it too. So a margin of 32 points is the difference. And you have to say, Adam said it before he left. They do deserve it, Spock. They deserve to win today. They were clinical for at least a quarter and a half. When he gets fired forward, Colley looks. There's a great mark at the back. And this Broadview crowd is starting to get back into it as well. Haynes. Rolling footy. Picked up. And well, that's a great tackle. McKinnon wraps up his opponent. And he gets thrown back to the umpire. Time continuing to tick down. 24 minutes gone. Kieran Hayoketsu scoreboard. And this has been an entertaining game for all involved. BTR Excavations, Adelaide Footy League Division 1. And if you're just stumbling across our great league today, welcome. Hopefully you've been entertained. We certainly have been as we brought you this one. We can't wait to see you next week. All 5 games brought to you on the Filming Footy YouTube channel, so you can just log on there on a Saturday morning and pick your poison. That's a great mark taken at the back by Haynes. Footy up the line for Costa. Costa sends it up and great mark taken. Inside. Anyang again, I'll say it every time he's grabbed it. Really liked his game. Ball bounces, collected. Not quite, though. It's going to be balled up. Footy goes up. Siren sounds. Spock keep doing what they needed to. 7:24:66. Broadview 5-4-34. A ripping first half. It was Broadview by 11, and we thought potentially at quarter time. It was Broadview by 3 at halftime as they stuck with it, but it was a 2-goal 10 to no score third quarter that got the job done. 19 points, and in the end, 5-4-34 plays 7:24:66. A 32-point ball game in the end, and it was St. Peter's who were all too good, but absolute brilliant from everyone involved. BTR Excavations, Adelaide Footy League Division 1 turns it on. Two teams that were 10th and 2nd, and again for that first half you wouldn't have known if you were just tuning in and you didn't have a look at the ladder before the game. If you'd been away for the year and you wanted to see what happened, it was a great game from all involved. As we see Jack Fergus there, walking off the ground. I wonder what's going through his head. He'll be disappointed, no doubt, but he'll probably will have taken a lot of learnings from the game today. That's the most important thing for Broadview, as we see Adam Jeffries with his men. Who's he got there? Well, we're going to have a look at the full-time highlights first. And this was Hames' first goal of the day. He was electric in the first quarter, Hames. Kicked 2 goals in that quarter, if I've got that right. I do, by my score sheet. Unofficial. But then the kick inside from I ended up with Hart Kelly, and this is a bit of a foreground highlight because that was brilliant from Rundle. Able to take a mark, and it gets sent back in by St. Peter's. Again, some really good football on display for Broadview. You have a look at them coming off the ground now. Dejected, no doubt, but they should be relatively proud of their efforts. They've had a tough run at it in Division 1. And how long before we see them competing at the very top? Last premiership in 2004 at this level. And you can understand, I was just looking then at O'Leary shaking the hands of his compatriot. And we are going to go down. Adam Jeffries has got the 3 award winners because we are ready to celebrate with St. Peter's.
And we're down Andrew side. Interesting game of football, 2nd versus 10th on the ladder, but Broadview certainly put up a big fight. St. Peter's, a little bit of goal kicking practice coming up this week. Amazingly kicked 2 goals, 10 in the third quarter, but we're really dominant in the last 2.5 quarters. So well done to them. Let's get some award winners happening. It was tough, actually, giving our best on ground. New Balance, Belgravia, Archie's Footwear and Settlers Tavern Award will go to Ed Allen. Shout out to Scotty Bedford there. He was a little bit stiff, but Ed had about 58 disposals, it felt like, so he had to get it. Our Bianco Magic Moment went to Nick Michaels for the hanger and goal in the second quarter. And our best team man, the brick wall, they'll call him, at half-back, Tom Rundle. Well done to him. We'll start with Nick with our Bianco mark of the day. Tell us about the mark, and you do have a licence to go for the hanger, don't you?
Yeah, it was just good. Especially we're down in that second quarter. We needed to get a couple goals on the board, so it was good to get one, and hopefully it felt like that sort of turned the momentum a bit and then played well for the second half, which was good.
Yeah, pretty humble there, Nick. It was just a cracking hanger, and you had a cracking game, actually. Well done to you. Ed, talk to us. Just knocking up, getting the footy at half-back. Were you surprised at how well Broadview went in the first half, or you were ready for a contest today?
No, Broadview really brought it. Full credit to them. They're a good side. I mean, although it might not be reflecting in the wins and losses column, but they're very good around the ball. They move the ball well, and they don't bail out and like to use a short one, which we probably got caught out a bit. So they're a good side.
Yeah, you guys were professional, though. Still got the job done. And the brick wall, Trundle at half-back. It's just easy, isn't it? Almost like you didn't have an opponent. You did, but you beat them. You take the inset marks, especially early in the game when the team needed you. Well done on the Moseley best team, man.
Yeah, definitely not easy down there sometimes. I think we've got a really good back system down there, and it's nice that they give me the license to fly sometimes. So I'm not taking any of the credit for the brick wall nickname. I'm not sure that one's going to stick.
Pretty well media trained, these guys, aren't they? Just, just playing a straight bat, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, giving the opposition credit. Nah, too good today, St. Peter's. They're having a fantastic season. Really, they could be 9-0, playing great football. Love watching them play today. It was an entertaining game, despite the scoreboard looking a little bit weird. It was actually an entertaining game. So well done to St. Peter's, professional performance. Well done to these boys. They can go inside and celebrate up to the ComBox. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
We continue to have a look at the full-time highlights. A massive thank you to Adam Jeffries and the award winners Ed Allen, Nick Michaels and Tom Rundle. And I don't know whether or not the Brickwall nickname will stick, but it certainly should, because he was, by all intensive purposes, unpassable down there. Now, there we see George kicking a goal. Up the other end, Costa had an opportunity to kick one from basically the square and did just that. Around the grounds as well, if you are curious, still some games of footy going on. Live right now, Sacred Heart 11-9-75. Salisbury North 7-8-50. They look like they're going to get a win. Golden Grove run over the top of Prince Alfred 12-16-88, plays 9-15-69. Still live now though. Port District have managed to turn it on. They are 9-16-70 and Ross Trevor 8-6-54. And we're having a look here. Payneham Norwood Union have beaten Glenunga. That's the latest news in from Payneham. 9-9-63, plays 6-16-52. So there you go. If you remember back to the start of the broadcast, we said that if Payneham won, that might be good night for Glenunga, and now Payneham can start to have a look and see whether or not they're going to survive. That was Reed who came in nearly taking an amazing grab. Wasn't able to quite do so. It was early stages at third quarter. That was a goal off the boot of De Cesare, who was around, involved certainly as well. Obviously, Ed Allen's going to end up with the 3 votes. We'll do our 2 and 1. You can tune in on Between the Posts to see that. What did you think there, Adam Jeffries, downstairs? Some interesting answers from the boys.
Yeah, well done to those boys. Did think Scott Bedford was a little bit stiff, but we'll have to have a look at the stats during the week, Lockie. If Ed Allen didn't have the ball nearly 40 times, I'll be surprised. He was brilliant. Scott Bedford was really good as well. He'd probably find himself in the votes. Really liked Nick Michaels' game. And the reason I chose Rundle and Michaels as well was they were there for their team in the first half, Lockie. There's a lot of guys getting this ball in the second half, but I thought Rundle thwarted a lot of the Broadview attacks, and Michaels was the spark plug for his team in the second quarter. So hopefully those interviews went well. And, yeah, a bit of a weird scoreboard, but it was still an entertaining game. Well done to St. Peter's, got the job done.
Yeah, St. Peter's, I mean, we say it each and every time. I feel like we call them. We've called them now against Broadview and against Prince Alfred twice on the season. I feel like they really are starting to become a team to be reckoned with, and it's kind of mess with them at your own peril at the minute. They are for mine, and I know Prince Alfred are going to get a result against Ross Trevor here, but they are for mine the most informed team in the competition.
Yeah, I think so. I'm impressed with them. Like I said, if you look at their 2 defeats, Port District's at Largs on the Siren and Salisbury North away on the Siren. They'd probably love to have that Salisbury North finish back, wouldn't they? But yeah, they could easily be clear on top of the ladder. Yeah, now they're impressive because they've got dangerous forwards, Lockie. They've got some really good tall defenders. They've got some great ball users, and they've got some great midfielders. So they don't want for anything, do they? They haven't played. Most of their players haven't played Division 1 finals. That's probably the only Achilles heel they have, but they won't care about that. Once they get to the big games, they'll be fine. Their game style is well suited to the big Caterer Oval. We'll be calling them plenty of times in September, the way things are going, I think.
Well, it's just another game, isn't it, finals? Like, yes, obviously there's added pressure. Yes, if you lose, you put yourself at a disadvantage or you end up being eliminated. But that I don't think that will worry a squad like this. They seem very well put together, and Mike O'Leary is a very calm and collected operator.
Yeah, that's the way most modern coaches are these days. But if you look at the top 4 teams, of course, Port Districts have been to the big dance twice in the last 3 years, but Sacred Heart, St. Peter's and Salisbury North will all be lacking a little bit of Division 1 finals experience when they get there. So looking forward to that, but still a lot of footy to be played. We played everyone once. We're 9 rounds in. We have a bit of an idea of how the ladder. We know there's been some close ball games at the other venues today as well. So, yeah, the Division 1 season is certainly hotting up.
Absolutely. We're halfway through. It feels like it's been a long time coming because we've had, a couple of bye weeks. So we've really, since round 1, what have we had, 13 or 14 weeks of football?
Yeah, it's just strange, isn't it? I think it's round 15 of the AFL and round 9 of Division 1. So we're a little bit behind, but we've played everyone once now, and we'll get through this winter period as we go back to the round 1 fixtures again, I think. Yeah, so everyone's played each other once, and next week there's some really good games of football. I think we're calling Salisbury North and Golden Grove again. We called them in round 1 lock-in. It was a 4-point ball game, so I'm expecting a really close contest there, and there's St. Peter's v Port Districts. That's another cracking game there as well.
Well, I mean, you have a look back at round one. Salisbury North, that was the game where they kind of announced themselves and said, we're actually here to play Division 1 footy. We are not just making up the numbers, and that has proved true for the next 8 games of footy after that. Prince Alfred and Glenunga, that's going to be a really interesting game of footy. Ross Trevor and Payneham, those two teams, that was the game where we all went, oh, Payneham probably not as good as we all thought they were coming into the pre-season back in round 1. Ross Trevor got the job done then. St. Peter's and Port District, Scott Lysett on the siren was the hero in round 1. Salisbury North and Golden Grove, it was Salisbury North who just didn't quite get it done. And Broadview against Sacred Heart. Sacred Heart, we were all expecting them to win that game coming into that one, and they did.
I wonder if Broadview will take some learnings out of today. So it's a similar game. They've got a home game against the top team again next week. They were able to play for a half today. Can they play for 3 quarters and just take the game a little bit deeper?
Well, it would have been interesting. Had they come out and been able to fire, potentially we'd be sitting here going, oh, Broadview, done something we didn't think they were able to, because they were probably the better team when you look at it over the first quarter.
Yeah, the first quarter they were certainly a better team. St. Peter's started to get their game going in the second quarter. And from there on, like I said, didn't really reflect on the scoreboard, but St. Peter's had the game in control through that second half.
Yeah, absolutely, they did. Still, though, there's plenty of footy to be played in season 2025. Cannot wait to see who's going to be in the big dance. I mean, we've got so much, I guess, kind of work to do, really. Got so much football to enjoy.
Yeah, still 9 rounds to go, but yeah, like I said, we're through the winter grind, but nice to have a sunny day today. Let's hope that continues on the Saturdays.
And Tommy Javor did this to me last week for Between the Posts. Shout out to Tommy, unlucky there with his boys at Salisbury North, but he did it to me, so I'm going to do it to you, because it's a circle of abuse. Who makes the grand final and who wins it? We're halfway through.
Halfway through the season, we're talking that way, Lockie. You do get excited, don't you? Always looking ahead. Port Districts, if they remain hungry, will make it.
That's a reaction everyone's had. It's Port District and then who?
It'll be Sacred Heart and St. Peter's in the prelim, and that will be a good game. And I'll let you know in a few weeks what I think.
No. You won't let us know in a few weeks. You'll tell us right now, Mr. Jeffries.
No, I'm impressed with Sacred Heart. But look, 6-1, half dozen the other. A lot of footy to be played. What ground that game's played on may play a big part.
That is a fair point. So I think we've got some women's footy coming up as well.
Yeah, Twilight game starting here soon with the women. So good luck to them.
That is going to be a great effort as well. But we're just going to go and thank our sponsors one last time as the women get out onto the ground. Filming Footy, Sports Interactive, Classic Clashes, Custom by ORTC, High Five E-Bikes, Dartfish, Archies, Jag Meatworks and Kimberley Resorts. Of course, the scoreboard, Kieran Hayuketsu bringing that to us today. 5-4-34, played 7-24-66. I'm going to do some research and work out whether or not that was a record number of behinds, but there's still lots of effort to be done as well. A massive thank you to all our post-game award-winning sponsors as well. We had our Farmers Leap Coach of the Week. That's to be selected as well tomorrow morning when we film Between the Posts. Goal of the Week's brought to you by Born to Build and Jag Meatworks. Give out the Goal of the Year. That's a winner receiving a tray of their finest meats. Mark of the Year, Born to Build, and of course the winner wins a Moonlight Suites by Kimberley Resorts 3 nights accommodation in Broome. A massive thank you to our team. Hugo Yushin was on the camera as well, and of course James Moody doing a brilliant job as our roving cameraman downstairs. A massive thank you to everyone for tuning in, and if you are a St. Peter's fan, enjoy the song.